Can everyone hear me all right? Hi, Joshua, Daisakuma, and Sasasokimi. Sasasokimi. Glad to hear that everyone's seems to be doing all right. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, etc., and a Happy New Year. Yeah, I don't know if any of you want to actually share what happened during your Christmases, but mine was pretty laid back. Got just a few. It wasn't like a big celebration. Just had a nice dinner with the family, and that was that. I did get a couple of interesting gifts. Like I got a little foam roller that you can use for your back. Got like this little notepad that you can use that basically simulates like a dungeon. It's like a dungeon crawler, but if it's a notepad instead of a video game. What was the last thing I got? It can't be everything. And I know I got one more thing. It probably doesn't matter. It'll come to me. Oh yeah, I got like a little one-person ice cream maker, which I've yet to test, but I probably will at some point. So yeah, all very nice, but it's time for the third trial. And from what I hear, this one is incredibly long. So the plan is to just go in, finish, and just play up until the intermission, and then that's it. So yeah, that'll be my hard out. Before I get to the trial, though, I do want to go over a couple of. I do have a bit of theory talk to actually share with you guys. I was going over my notes since the last stream, just based on just because I had come up with quite a few theories, and I had a couple of revelations, and I want to share them with you. I think this trial has like 6 or 7 hours. Holy crap. My cat jumped on the Christmas tree, the tree fell, and some stuff broke. Oh my god. Well. Anyway, so, as you may remember, in the last stream, I did some theorizing that Sora might either is Akane somehow, or that she has some kind of connection to her. Hi, Revolution Bean. So, that's led to me looking, and so when I looked back over a bunch of my notes, I kind of realized that this could explain a couple of things that have come up before. So first of all, if Sora and Akane are the same person, that would explain why she jumped to protect Yuki, because she would subconsciously think he was Utsura. Like that's one possibility. But I think arguably one of the more interesting ones, though, is the wound that she gets from protecting Yuki. She gets stabbed in the chest, and after that happens, Shobai implied that there was more to Sora's wound than just what he did to her. And what's interesting about that is, at the end of DRI 1, if you don't remember, Akane takes a shot to the chest from a Monokuma. So, presumably in the same spot that Sora gets hit in the prologue. So I wonder if that's what Shobai is talking about. I don't know if Shobai was... Granted, I don't know how long after DRA 1 SDRA 2 takes place. It seems like it's a couple of years, but I suppose it's not impossible that, if the... considering how extreme the wound was, it probably formed like a permanent scar. So, assuming Akane survived somehow, which, again, incredibly... granted, crazier things have happened, arguably, even in DRA 1, but that does make me wonder, does Shobai know... Did Shobai just notice the scar, or did he... does he actually know about the events of DRA1 somehow? I feel like... Didn't Akane sink into the ocean? Her corpse was floating. So the credit sequence of DRA1 shows Utsuro sinking into the ocean, and then everyone else who died floats up to the surface on his way down. And it ends on Akane floating up to the surface. So as far as we know, at the end of DRA1, she is either dead or dying, her body floating on the ocean, just drifting in the ocean. Let's see. Did I have any other notes I wanted to point out? I don't think I have any more notes, but there is still the fact that, you know, I do think that Sora's, like, physical stats, Sora's vitals, except for her height, being omitted from her bio, assuming this is meant to be the plot, meant to be the twist with her, is one way of hiding that from the viewer. Though the fact that her height is literally just 1 centimeter off from Akane does tell me that it's close enough, and if that's the case, and like it is at least plausible. Like if it was a bigger discrepancy, like if she was Emma's height, then I'd probably toss that theory out. And there was also the thing, like, I'm also really wondering, like, what the deal is with this trial, because Iroha's definitely coming across, like, I don't think Iroha did it, I don't think Iroha killed Setsuka, but her actions during, like, everything she's involved in during the trial, during, like, the lead up to Setsuka's death is definitely strange. Like, Setsuka asked to meet with her alone. She sent her to a place that would separate her from the rest of the group, the rest of the people that she wanted to meet with. And then, like, and then there's the fact that she never goes to actually meet up with her. I mean, maybe she was planning on it, but it's still strange. It's still something that needs some kind of explanation, which I imagine will come during the trial. And then there's the fact that Sora, I'm pretty sure Sora's coffee, or rather Iroha's coffee, which Sora drank, was drugged. I don't know if... Now, there's a couple of ideas I have on that front. I'm thinking either Iroha decided to drug it expecting Sora to... I'm expecting either Iroha drugged it, expecting Sora would drink it, which might be a bit of a leap in logic, but... which might be a bit of a leap in logic, but... yeah. It's either that or Setsuka... Maybe Setsuka drugged it, hoping Iroha would drink it, but Sora's caffeine addiction foiled that plan. Although the fact that it's not a... I feel like I'll be shocked if the coffee doesn't come up during the trial somehow. I'm gonna go over the truth bullets one more time, just so I have some base understanding of what's going on. Alright, Sasaso. Sasaso Kimi, my question is how sore is Akane if this is true? Honestly, I don't know, but considering all the other crazy crap that's happened, even in DRA1 alone, it wouldn't, like, I'm sure that there is some way to make this work. Hi, Gladys. Hi, Hi, M0012M. Hi, Raviner. Who do you think is the culprit? Honestly, if I'm going to be ruling out Iroha, I think it's probably going to be Kanade. Because, well, yeah, I mean, Revolution Bean makes a good point. It feels like you have you have two characters who are very, like, attached at the hip to each other. It doesn't really make sense to have both of them make it to the second half of the game. But I also think that given, like, Hibiki, given that Kanade had some really unhinged sprites, she kind of fits into the niche of a just off-the-wall third chapter killer. But beyond that, like, she often says to Hibiki, "Leave everything to me, sis. I've got this." And I wonder if she saw how distraught Hibiki was on seeing their parents' lives seemingly being in danger, and decided, okay, I'm gonna put a plan into action. And I'm guessing that Kanade would have. Well, actually, that also means that Hibiki, if Kanade succeeds, then Hibiki would probably die, unless I'm misremembering how the accomplice rule works. Actually, can I check that? Where the... Let's see. Okay, I don't know what the accomplice rules are, but I'm pretty... last I remember, there's no point in having accomplices. So... maybe there'll be some kind of explanation that, maybe there'll be some kind of explanation as to why Kanade did this, or to explain how she would be able to get both her and her sister out of this. Are we in the... We're currently in the, we haven't started the trial yet, Raviner. Fun fact, it's Hajime Makunochi's birthday today. Boxing Day. Is his birthday actually, It is, yeah. Funny. In Trial 1, they said accomplice doesn't gain anything, if I remember correctly. Okay. Yeah, in that case, I'm not sure what exactly Kanade is going for. If she's the killer, of course. It's interesting to think, though, unless someone, like, dies of poisoning during the trial or something, then we're gonna have 10 characters going into Chapter 4. Hi, Vanny. Alright, let's just go over the, I'm gonna go over the truth bullets one more time. Another thing that makes me think it might be Kanade is that she was able... I think it was her that pointed out that the syringe one of the syringes could be used for, measuring exactly how long you want to knock someone out for. She seemed unusually... And also, she watches a ton of medical dramas. So if the murder weapon came from the medical kit, I would probably assume it's her first. I feel like the plastic bags may have been used to transport Setsuka's dismembered body. Although you'd assume that there would be bloodstains on them. Safety pins, I'm not sure what to say. Someone had to be hiding behind the folding screen, presumably the killer. And then you've got all these gate records. I'm probably gonna need my reminders of what the gate records all mean. And then there's the antibiotics. I don't know what the Hi Jesse. I think it's probably Kanade, and if it's not Kanade, then it's Iroha. Although honestly, I feel like it just makes more sense from a writing perspective for one of the twins to be killed off before the it makes more sense for one of the twins from a writing perspective. It just makes sense for one of the twins to be killed off. I also feel like Setsuka could have been killed. I feel like what happened could have been that Setsuka was killed somewhere in Department C, probably the pool area, stuffed inside, and when Shinji went there, and it happened around the time Shinji went there, and so the sign was put up saying, you know, don't come in because it's sanitation. And then the killer puts them in one of the Sachi dolls. They move to Department A. After that, the possibly someone, and then they either take the monorail or an accomplice, possibly Hibiki if Kanade's the killer, takes the parts out and puts them in the altar. Or one of them, or the killer also uses that time, the parade, to prepare their trick with all the with dimming the lights everywhere. Anyway, I think I've rambled long enough. Yeah. Okay, I think we're ready. Who are you betting on surviving this game? So far, honestly, I haven't really given that too much thought. Not at the moment, but I feel like likely candidates right now are Sora. Sora is likely, although not a shoo-in because of DRA1. Nikke, I think actually has a decent chance of surviving from a writing perspective, and to be honest, Shinji does too. Yuki, as always, big question mark. I could see him surviving. Yoriko, I think, survives. Assuming only one of the twins gets executed, the one that survives likely survives to the end. Mikado, definitely not. Iroha, I'm gonna say no, but I honestly am not sure. She always feels like she's the one character who I keep feeling like is going into the background at times. Hi, fun time. Teruya, I'd like Teruya to survive. I don't know if he will, though. But, maybe he will. I honestly don't know. And to be honest, the only ones I'd say I'm really confident on are Nikke and Yoriko. But, I mean, this is DRA we're talking about, so who knows? Well, actually, no. Nikke, Shinji, and Yoriko. I think those three have a good shot. If I had to put money down on 3 characters, those would be the 3. Anyway, let's get started.
First, allow me to briefly explain the rules of this class trial. The results of the class trial will be decided solely by your votes. If you manage to correctly identify the blackened, only they will receive punishment. But, should you vote incorrectly, everyone except for the blackened will be punished, and they will be able to escape this field trip of mutual killing.
Why didn't Hibiki vote Kanade in the womb? Jesse, I'm not sure I don't know what you're talking about.
Was this place always so big?
It's probably because there's a lot less of us now.
Right. It's hard to imagine 5 of us have already died.
We're dropping like flies.
Everyone! We can't let this get to us! There's still 11 of us alive, and it's our duty to avenge Setsuka!
Shinji's voice sounds a little bit different.
If we don't get a hold of ourselves, we'd be letting their deaths be in vain.
I don't know what it is. He sounds different.
We'll carry their memories with us and solve this trial for them.
He's right. Right now, we need to focus on finding the culprit.
Yeah, about that. I honestly have no idea where to even begin. With how hectic this whole murder is, do we even have a chance of pinpointing the killer?
It's alright. We have Kanade.
So did the voice actor for Shinji change, or did they decide to voice him differently?
Kanade did most of the heavy lifting last time, so we can just sit back and relax.
Oh, Iroha.
And what if Kanade's the culprit?
Then I guess it would be the end for us.
What the? Ain't you meant to be the optimistic one, Iroha?
Well, Kokuro's already dead, and Kanade practically saved us all during the last trial. So if she's our enemy this time, we'd be out of smart people.
Voice actor change? I think it's probably because of age. Oh yeah, imagine, yeah, with how long a project like this is taking. Yeah, I can see that.
Iroha, the trial's only just started. We don't know how this is going to turn out, so don't jump to conclusions, alright? Even if most of us lack the brains that Kokoro and Kanade possess, these trials allow us to communicate with one another. As a group, I'm sure we'll be fine.
I couldn't have said it better myself. They say well begun is half done.
Shut the hell up!
I'd say we've had more than a fruitful start, which means... Would you believe it? We're already halfway through. My, this trial has flown by.
Oh, well, I guess the stream's over.
Doesn't that just boost your spirits tenfold? Alright, I've decided I'll do my very best in this trial as well.
Shutting up is the best you can do for us, so zip it!
I always imagine Shinji as sounding more gruff, like a lot gruffer than usual. Like sort of closer to Nekomaru, but I'm sure I'll get used to it. If I'm not mistaken, Monocro also had a voice change at one point. I don't remember when.
Alright, that's enough bickering. Shinji's right. Let's get our heads down and find the culprit. And that's what Setsuka would have said if she was here, right?
And our other social butterfly, Hibiki, is in, well, that state.
Don't worry about Sis. She's still just a bit shocked. She'll be okay in a while. Just give her some space.
Alright, let's start this thing.
But as always, finding the best place to start is the hardest task.
Ain't that the truth? Me and trying to make videos after, the DRA1 video.
Mr. and Mrs. Culprit, please raise your hand. Oh, I'm out of ideas.
I suppose we should start by going over the basic outline of the case.
Wait, there's something I want to clear up first.
Yuki, what is it?
You all read the Monocro file, right? The wording and info in the file this time is rather vague and unhelpful. I mean, it doesn't even show the time of death.
It didn't? Well, that's inconvenient.
Hold on. Didn't Kokoro's case file also withhold the time of death from us?
That was because Kokoro's body was frozen, making it difficult to determine the exact time of death.
Yeah, honestly, I often make little... I mean, I've been doing it for SDRA2 as well. I usually make ever since the first Danganronpa game, I've made, charts counting the days and who dies on what day. I genuinely have no clue which day Kokoro would have died on. At the latest, she dies on either night 15 or day 16. But there's no way to actually calculate that for certain.
In Yuri's case, it was clearly different. Excluding abnormal circumstances, it should be given that the time of death will always be shown to us.
Monocro, explain this to us.
My, are you about to complain about my handiwork once again?
You're clearly hiding important information that's crucial for us to figure out what's going on in this case.
Miss Kabuya, please. There's no need for such harsh words. The Monocro file is not your basic gaming walkthrough. Sometimes we are forced to leave some details out.
What do you mean by that?
If I may, it is to make the trial fair for both sides.
Okay, so they're actually going to explain, sort of the meta reason for it, because, usually... Basically, the more, I guess, complex you go with the murders, generally the more information that gets left out, or at the very least, the critical info is left out. That would make it super obvious who did it or would already cause a massive break in the case.
There are two cases where the monochrome file leaves out information. One is cases where it is just simply impossible to include that information. For example, Kokoro's frozen body made it impossible for us to determine the exact time of death. And the other is where the missing detail is exactly what the culprit intended.
Wait, come again?
For example, let's say our culprit used some tricks so that we cannot easily determine the murder weapon. But then, if the monochrome file said, the murder weapon is a knife, all that hard work by the culprit would go to waste, no?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, in these cases, we intentionally leave out information about the murder weapon or make it very vague.
What? When did this become a thing?
It's always been a thing.
From the beginning, Mr. Yomiuri. It just so happens that up until now, there was no need for that rule.
It's as exactly as Mikado said. This case is such an example of that rule.
How's that fair? You're giving the culprit an advantage.
No, not necessarily. If they hid the time of death, that means there was a reason to do so by the culprit. Its ambiguity is almost a hint itself.
Yuki's talking sense.
In other words,
And now I'm making
when
snacks.
did Setsuka actually die? We should start from there.
Right, just making sure that I understand. Oh man. Last time we were here, both of them were still around. Shift. Oh, you can hit S to skip the lines? I didn't know that. We can't have nice things, huh? Yeah.
When did Setsuka die?
The last time we saw Setsuka in person,
During the breakfast meeting.
And we found the body around 8 in the evening, right?
So between the morning and the evening.
Isn't that too long of a gap?
We can't help that. No one saw Setsuka after breakfast. The morning breakfast, and when we found her body. We'll just have to jump around within that window and pray we get lucky.
Are there any other ways to narrow down Setsuka's time of death? The place we found her body was the ghost house. Whatever had happened, she ended up in the ghost house. If there was some clue relating to this, we could pinpoint her time of death.
When did Setsuka die?
the last time we saw Setsuka.
During...
And
We'll just have to jump around the window and...
No, that's wrong!
Yeah.
No, I think we can shorten that range even further.
We can? How?
There was something that came to me while I was investigating. Setsuka's body was found in the ghost house, right? So by looking at the gate records, we can probably deduce something.
Sora's right. After all, every attraction in Satsuki Land requires us to input our e-handbook pluses, and those gates keep logs of when we enter and leave.
Wait, the gate does record timestamps. But if they don't show who it was that entered, how are we going to know which one of these is Setsuka? While not foolproof, there is a way. Just like Sora said, we can use the time period in those logs to estimate Setsuka's time of death.
Not
so we can narrow it down that much just by making a guess with those gate records?
Sora, did you perhaps happen to write down the gate records?
Well, yes, I did.
Now we're talking. Everyone, please take a look at this. These are the records of the ghost house for today.
Wait, Sora, are you sure you got everything right? If these records are even slightly off, we could end up going on a wild goose chase.
Don't worry, these are accurate. I already had the logs perfectly memorized, just not written down.
Wait, are you planning on stopping at the intermission or just winging through all of it? I'm going to be stopping at the intermission. Some people recommended that I do that because the trial is very long.
If you say so. Wait, what? How?
Since these timestamps are crucial to the case, from now on, let's all refer to the 24-hour clock, just to avoid any confusion. Now, let's go over them one by one. Firstly, the most important ones are the ones between 1755 and 1942.
Hi, Golem. It's going pretty well. We've just started. I've only gotten past the first non-stop debate. Is Kanade about to take charge of the case again? It seems like it, yeah, and if she's the killer, well, that's great for her.
These 4 ID records at 1958 are when Sora, Shinji, Yuki, and I had found the body. So we can ignore those. We can focus purely on the left-hand column. Wait, if these are the records for the whole day, then does that mean that the first time anyone entered the ghost house today was at 1755? Correct. And somebody else soon followed 2 minutes later. KU5P01. This was probably Setsuka.
How can you tell just by the timestamps?
Oh, I see. This ID has no out records. So, this must have been Setsuka, who entered the ghost house and was murdered there.
It's either that or whoever went in there at that time. That's the thing, like, that is, like, an explanation that makes sense, but what I thought was, I still feel like, especially if Kanade's the killer, if she is the killer and she's trying to mislead people, then that could be her, actually. And she just hid behind the folding screen and waited until the gates were disabled so that she could safely exit and would leave no record behind. Then again, the body would have been discovered by then. Then again, no, the body would have been discovered. It's either that or Hibiki was there. I don't know. This is what mystery games do to you. You overthink everything.
Exactly. In other words, the murder couldn't have happened at any point before 1755, where the ghost house was first used by someone.
Wait! But these 4 records at 1958 don't have any out records either. Wait. Oh, yeah. They disable the gate system when a body is found. Oopsies.
Hiroha.
I almost dropped the F-bomb on you. Good on you for avoiding that in time.
So let's see. We can assume 55 is the culprit.
Oh, don't fail me now. I think the game may have frozen. Oh, there we go.
They somehow managed to call Miss Chiebukuro to the ghost house, made sure to enter the facility before her, and probably ambushed her as soon as she entered.
Yep. So the time of Setsuka's death would be between 1755 and 2000, when the body was found. There was a long period of time before anyone else entered the ghost house, following Setsuka's entry. The culprit probably used this time to dismember Setsuka's body.
Dismember? Just thinking about it. Ugh.
Wait, what? Something felt a little off just now.
We received a message from Setsuka right before the parade that she had some business to attend. That was when she had gone to the ghost house to meet the culprit.
Wait, something's
wrong here.
Yoriko's... Huh.
What? Shinji mentioning that chat room just now reminded me. If Setsuka was ambushed almost immediately after she entered the ghost house at 1755, then what's up with that message she sent long after that?
I mean, that could have been someone else using her e-handbook plus.
You mean the one you guys told me about earlier? Something about the devil?
That was around 2000.
I like that they use... I like that line. Getting used to the, difference in time.
Typical. What is it? Nothing. I just couldn't help but marvel at your stupidity, Urkel. Every time you run your mouth in a trial, it's always the same. What did you say? Didn't we go over this recently? Who cares about the message on the e-handbook plus?
I don't know. It's important.
Obviously, the culprit stole the e-handbook plus from Setsuka to send us that message. It was meant to throw us off the trail.
She's right. As long as you have access to its owner's fingerprints, you can use their e-handbook plus whenever you want, just like how Emma did with Kokoro's.
Wait, there's something else that's bothering me. If the culprit entered at 1755 and Setsuka at 1757, who's this person that entered at 1924 and left at 1936?
I don't understand military time still. You just have to subtract 12 from the hours, so 1924 becomes 724.
Ah, that's probably me. Kanade and Aroha should remember that, right? We'd split up to search for Setsuka in Department A.
Oh, that's right. You did say you were going to check the ghost house.
Shouldn't you have seen the culprit then?
What do you mean?
Think about it. The culprit, WN2LB7, entered at 1755 and left at 1942. If what Kanade says is true, the culprit would have remained inside the ghost house until then, taking care of the body.
She is being helpful, but the fact that the fact that, like, Sora and Yoriko both noticed something was wrong. Like, I think that's meant to indicate that there is something amiss here.
And if you entered at 1924, that was 18 minutes before the culprit fled the scene. So how come you didn't see them?
Folding screen.
I was wondering about that myself, Nikkei. If Kanade's reasoning is true, then yes, I should have seen the culprit, and yet I somehow didn't.
The ghost house was experiencing a blackout at that time, correct? Perhaps you missed them in the darkness.
No, I highly doubt that. I searched every corner of the place, and I don't think you can miss someone cutting up a whole human body, no matter how dark it may be.
Sora, are you sure you searched everywhere?
Of course. I know it was dark, but...
No, not then. After the body was found, when you were investigating, the lights were definitely on, so if you searched thoroughly, you would have seen that place, right?
That place. Was there any room for the culprit to hide while taking care of the body? That's right. Weren't there some traces at the entrance? That means...
Got it. Are you talking about the folding screen near the entrance? You think the culprit may have hid behind that?
Exactly. I'm sure you've all seen it. But the trail of blood in the ghost house all originates from a large pool of blood behind the folding screen. I'm willing to bet the culprit moved the folding screen from the wall to create a small room between them. With the ghost house being dark, it would be extremely difficult to figure out that there was some room behind that folding screen.
So that's where the culprit was cutting up Setsuka.
But the ghost house had a blackout. Could someone really do something so horrible? In the dark?
That's not really a problem. Only 3 people, Setsuka, the culprit, and Sora, entered the ghost house. All they would have needed to do is finish the job before 1924. When Sora entered the ghost house...
That would also explain the fireplace being put out.
And it doesn't contradict with the parade schedule either.
So what does this tell us? This is all moving so fast, I have no idea what's going on anymore.
It's simple. The person who entered at 1755 and left at 1942. That person is the culprit.
Okay, so our next step should be asking for everyone's alibi at that time.
The people who don't have an alibi would be...
Well, we first have to exclude the people that watched the parade. The parade started at 18 o'clock and ended a little over 19 o'clock.
And those people are...
Me, Yuki, Yoriko, Shinji, Kanade, and Nikkei.
Nikkei? I thought you said you were gonna act alone.
I was there to write a piece on the parade. I didn't expect company, that's for sure. And me electing to distance myself from you guys shouldn't be a factor here. I don't want to die as much as the next guy, so I'm willing to cooperate with the trial's proceedings.
Nikkei's talking sense.
Iroha? But you weren't with us at the parade.
Well, she did meet up with us right after the parade had ended, which gives her an alibi. The culprit left the ghost house at 1942, so that clears Aroha of suspicion.
Thank goodness.
So that leaves...
Mikado, Teria, Shobai, and Sis.
So the culprit is one of these 4?
Interesting that... I'm just saying, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying that one of those 4 is not like the others. And I think you can guess which one.
Well then, this'll be easy. It's either Mikado or Shobai!
Wait, bro, calm down! We need to think this through properly.
Yuki's so shocked he's gone low res.
Please don't recklessly let your emotions guide you.
What? Yuki, did you just call me reckless? That's it! I'm gonna thank you for that, because that was really careless of me. Damn it, Shinji! You can't let your emotions control you!
Alright, that's enough chit-chat. You four, one by one, tell us what you were doing between 1755 and 1942.
Mikado, Teruya, Shobai, and Hibiki. It's true that these four without any alibis are the most suspicious ones. Let's hear what they have to say.
So what were you four doing?
I was raising my MP in my room.
I'm out of MP.
Here, you psycho!
I was at the mart, doing my item checkup. I don't have any proof, though. I'm sorry.
What about you, sis? Where were you all day?
I don't know. I really don't. I didn't go anywhere today.
Shobai! It's your turn! Where were you?
Library, reading books.
Huh? He's awake? That's new.
Is that his first line he's had? I think that might be his first line he's had during a non-stop debate as well. According to Kanade's reasoning, the culprit must be one of the four people without an alibi. One of them could be lying. Let's take a closer look at what they're saying.
So, what about...
I didn't go anywhere to...
No, that's wrong!
Hibiki, wait. You're telling me that you didn't go anywhere today? Then how do you explain the existence of a witness seeing you enter the ghost house?
I don't think I've ever heard of a Danganronpa character that goes the first two chapters without a single line in a non-stop debate, and yet is still alive in chapter 3.
What?
Iroha said she saw you there. Right, Iroha?
Oh, yeah. I saw her a little bit before 1800 hours, and as I was going to the mirror house, Setsuka just messaged me, so... Wait, 1755? That matches with the timestamp on the gate! That was when I saw her, I'm sure of it! What?
Hibiki entered the ghost house at 1755? Are you sure about that, Iroha?
I'm positive. It was definitely Hibiki. She wandered about until finally entering that place. What are you talking about? I never entered there! I never went there!
She's crying. What do we do now?
Perhaps Miss Nijiyue mistook someone else for Miss Hibiki? She is an idiot after all.
Don't believe me!
Iroha's account has some validity, though. I think she said something similar before we'd even found Setsuka's body.
Thanks, Sasaso.
She was supposed to meet with Setsuka at the mirror house at 1800.
Considering the time and place, Iroha's account kinda adds up.
Then, does this mean...
Hibiki's the culprit?
Why am I the culprit? No, I'm not! I just don't remember anything! I swear, I'm telling the truth! I just... My mind is drawing a blank! Why don't I remember?
I wonder... Okay, I don't know what the side effects of penicillin are, but is it possible that... I mean, there was a case that... I mean, if you've watched all my videos, then you would know this, but... Then you know this, but there was one case in a Fangan I reviewed where chloroform was used to cause a form of memory loss in not an accomplice, but the person that the killer wanted to escape with. So, could that be what's happened here?
Suka... I'm scared. Help me.
Sis, Wake up. Setsuka isn't here anymore.
I know I'm the one who caused this, but maybe we should slow down and think about this a bit more. Hibiki's been pretty shaken up ever since yesterday's motive was revealed. And to make things worse, Setsuka isn't here to comfort her anymore. Of course, I'm not saying that my account is false, but the trial has just started, and I can't help but feel bad for Hibiki.
What fan is that? It's the, it's Rampa and Friends.
You've got a point,
But the gate records speak for themselves. Setsuka died in the ghost house. And according to these logs, the person who entered at 1755 is the culprit. And Hibiki is that person.
Hibiki, we want to believe you, but you need to cooperate with us. What were you doing at 1755?
No, I don't know. I don't know. I can't remember. I just can't.
Ugh, good grief. I knew Miss Hibiki was a crybaby. This is ridiculous.
Says you! Yeah!
Well, I think we're pretty much done here. As Yuki said, the gate records are decisive evidence. Knowing that it logs our e-handbook pluses probably slipped her mind in the moment. Or maybe she's just an idiot.
Says you! Yeah!
But don't you think she's acting a bit weird if she's the culprit?
Kanade, putting aside the facts for a moment, what do you think about this? She's your family, so you know her better than anyone else here does. Do you think she's the culprit?
I mean, Hibiki's voice actress is honestly probably one of the is probably giving like one of the most spirited performances overall. She's great.
To be honest, I've had my suspicions since the investigation. What do you mean? Sis suffers from some sort of mental condition.
Oh. Are we going like the whole... Are we going like the route of Farewell My Turnabout here?
The more stressed she becomes, the more childlike behavior she displays. And if the stress were to ever become too much for her to handle, she'd begin experiencing bouts of amnesia.
What the heck? Why are we only just hearing about this now?
I'm sure she's gonna say because you never asked.
Because her brain tries to suppress it. I'm the only one who's witnessed it before. When her childhood puppy died. When her best friend was severely injured after falling from the stairs. When some of the melody rhythm staff went missing. And now again today.
They remember some of the melody rhythm staff going missing. Is that supposed to be like a lead up to the tragedy?
You all saw it, right? Sis being frozen like a lifeless puppet? I suspected this from her amnesiac state back at the trial entrance.
I don't know. I don't know anything.
You mean to suggest that Miss Hibiki did indeed murder Miss Chiebukuro, but she herself doesn't recall it?
It's certainly a possibility.
Doesn't this all sound a bit unrealistic?
Dissociative amnesia is a real thing. I don't know if it happens exactly like this, but there is an actual basis for this. Yeah, Lanuge has, like, definitely done his due diligence in terms of, like, researching stuff. Like, you can see this as far back as the very first case, like, when Kanada is talking about how long it takes blood to coagulate.
Usually, I'd agree, but it would explain Hibiki's strange behavior. He's been like this ever since yesterday's motive reveal, so the timeline adds up, too. Kanade might be right.
Wait, Kanade, isn't that a contradiction? Hibiki being mentally unstable, yet killing the only person who's keeping her sane.
Dang, Shinji's actually making a good point.
Why would she do something like that?
Fugyu... Hi, Chris Ball. Fugyu... How do you pronounce that? Fugu state is similar to dissociative amnesia.
If Sis really is the culprit, then I can think of one possible theory as to why she killed Setsuka.
And that is?
Each of Setsuka's body parts was laid on each pillar of the altar, right? Did anyone take a look at the signpost in front of the altar?
Offer your loved one's body to the devil, and the devil shall fulfill your wish. Something like that, right?
You mean...
Yup. Setsuka was someone precious to Sis. She killed Setsuka and tore her body apart, all for the sake of granting her wish. Seriously? That's just some made-up gimmick for the attraction. You're telling me she actually believed that? You're forgetting that Sis hasn't been herself since watching the motive video.
It's Fugue, I believe.
Well, she is my sister. She's not the sharpest tool in the shed.
She was looking kinda dumb with a finger and a thumb in the shape of an L on her forehead.
Being pushed this far just drove that to the extreme, where she couldn't distinguish fiction from reality.
What kind of wish could be so important she'd choose to kill her best friend?
Our parents were killed.
What?
Sis and I were given the exact same motive videos. It displayed our parents being ambushed and slaughtered.
So yours, or like mine.
Then, Hibiki did all that to save her parents? Hibiki, in her broken state, might have tried to grant her wish through sacrificing Setsuka, a precious friend of hers.
The trial hasn't ended yet, nor has the culprit been confirmed. But I at least know what my sister is like. That's what I'm basing this theory on. Whatever the case, the fact that my sis is the most suspicious one here is an inevitable truth.
I wanna go home! I've had enough! Mom, Dad, Suga! Help me! No! I don't want this!
Oh, jeez, she broke down!
Kanade, do something! I can't do anything if she's like that!
Yeah, Vanny, I think, I think he specifically mentions his, mom, when he receives the motive video.
Can't you try to console her like you usually do? Please?
It's hopeless. At this point, I don't think even I could get through to her. And even if I could, it wouldn't change the mountain of evidence against her. It's hard to see anyone else as the culprit.
How can you be so calm about this? She's your family.
I'm not exactly jumping for joy here, but I'm not stupid enough to let sentimentality cloud rational thinking. She killed someone behind my back so that she could escape alone. There's nothing else to say. Poor sis. So helpless and alone. So small. So broken. And so adorable.
The hell? It's like the fourth. That's like the fourth unhinged sprite of hers I've seen now. Yeah, I do feel bad for Hibiki.
Hibiki, don't just stand there crying. Say something. Did you really kill Setsuka? Try to remember.
I don't know. I can't do this anymore. I want to go home.
Yoriko, let me try talking with her.
Sora.
Is Hibiki really the culprit? Even if the gate records are incriminating evidence, are they alone enough even if the gate records are incriminating evidence, are they alone enough to indict her as Setsuka's killer? No, there must be more to this. That's right, there is more to this. There's one thing I found, one thing that puts Hibiki directly at the scene. Whether Hibiki has amnesia or not, this will bring a truth to light that no one can ignore. Oh, we're doing those were hearts in her eyes, Daisukuma. We're doing the, Terminate Talk shooting now. Is she supposed to resemble Miku Hatsune in this art of hers?
Did I really do it? I wanna go home. I can't remember. Please don't hurt me. No! Stop it! Leave me alone. Everyone is a meanie. I wanna go home. I can't remember. Please don't hurt me. No! Leave me alone. Please don't hurt me. Did I really do it? I don't know anymore. I wanna go home. Everyone is a meanie. Leave me alone. No! Please don't hurt me. No! Did I really do it? Please don't hurt me. Leave me alone. I don't know anymore. I wanna go home. Stop it. Leave me alone. No! Please don't hurt me. No! Leave me alone. Please don't hurt me. Leave me alone. I wanna go home. Everyone is a meanie. Leave me alone. I don't know anymore. No! Please don't hurt me. I don't know anymore. Leave me alone. Please don't hurt me. Did I really do it? I wanna go home. Stop it. Leave me alone. Please don't hurt me. Did I really do it? Did I really do it? No! Stop it. Leave me alone. Everyone is a meanie. I can't remember. Leave me alone. Did I really do it? No! Stop it. I can't remember. Leave me alone. Stop it. Please don't hurt me. Leave me alone. Please don't hurt me. Did I really do it? Leave me alone. I don't know anymore. Stop it. Leave me alone. I can't remember. I can't remember. Please don't hurt me. Leave me alone. I wanna go home. No! Stop it. I can't remember. Leave me alone. Stop it. Please don't hurt me. Leave me alone. Stop it. I can't remember anything. I never went into that place.
This is the end.
Yeah, V3 came out while this was in development. So does that mean that like the concept for this game was like devised before Argument Armament was a thing? Hate how at the end of almost all these the character is basically naked. Honestly, I think Hibiki's is probably the like lewdest so far. Like even including stuff from V3, honestly.
You're wrong, Hibiki. There's decisive evidence that you went to the ghost house. After Monochrome made the announcement for the class trial, I found your hairpin on the floor and returned it to you. You remember that at least, right?
What are you talking about, Sora?
Hibiki's hairpin was lying on the ground, next to the altar. At that time, I didn't think much of it and returned it to her immediately.
Wait, what? Sora, you found Sis's hairpin at the ghost house?
Oh, I see. So Sora was the one who tied Hibiki's hair back up during the investigation. That makes sense. Wait, no, that doesn't make any sense at all. That's crucial evidence. Why didn't you mention this before?
I didn't think she'd be the culprit at that time. I just assumed she dropped it at some point before Setsuka's death.
Hibiki's hair was untied when Setsuka's body was found, right?
I thought it was after, but whatever.
But the Hibiki I saw entering the ghost house at 1755 had her hair tied up.
So that would mean her hairpin fell out during that period when she was inside the ghost house.
How could you not have noticed her hair falling loose? And isn't this all a bit easy? If Hibiki killed Setsuka, why would she just casually leave incriminating evidence at the crime scene?
Danganronpa is a franchise I'd much rather watch over play. More fun. What do you mean by that, Raviner?
Her own belongings, of all things.
Easy? Are you implying that someone might have tried to frame Hibiki?
I agree that this result is a bit sloppy. There are too many unanswered questions, but forced or not, there is an undeniable truth here even I can't ignore. This hairpin was dropped at some point in the ghost house, sometime after Iroha saw her enter it today. Even if Sis can't remember, the evidence shows that she definitely entered that place. But according to the gate records, if we exclude the victim and Sora's investigation, only one person entered the ghost house. And that person is the culprit. Because of the minigames overall, not the best, but I like trying to solve the cases. Yeah, Danganronpa's minigames, aside from the debate-based ones, unfortunately aren't the best for the most part. I do like some of them, at least in terms of, like, in the context of playing them in like the V3 Casino is actually pretty fun. And, like, I don't care what anyone says, Mind Mine is my personal favorite non-debate minigame. Like, even though it took me forever to get the monolithic achievement. But yeah, Logic Dive would be fine. I feel like Logic Dive would be fine if they... I guess the problem is, like, well, much like Ace Attorney, really, like, I mean, to Snake, the minigames are probably the biggest weak spot in the game, in this game especially. I'm sure they are. Thanks to Iroha's account, we know for certain that Sis entered the ghost house, and the hairpin evidence confirms this.
That is quite undeniable indeed.
I don't know what's going on. I really don't remember anything. I'm so scared. Someone, anyone, please help. Kanade, you believe me, right? You'll help me, won't you?
Climax reasoning is also very good. Yeah, it is. The dub makes the worst ones better, at least. Yeah, this will be my last reprieve from them, I guess.
You're the only one I have left, Kanade. Please believe me. Help!
Wake up, Hibiki! No one's coming to save you this time. There's no mom or dad, no Suka or whatever. Not even I can help you anymore. Stop depending on me to fix everything for you.
Oh,
I can't
jeez.
just make all this evidence against you disappear, can I?
I mean, you could provide some pushback.
Quit being a crybaby and either fight back or just admit it.
God. I feel like this is kind of going in a similar route to, yeah, just like Farewell My Turnabout, where like, the more you press this person who fits all the criteria and clearly has a lot of mental health issues, the more that you press them, the more uncomfortable it gets.
Kanade, I don't want to do this either, sis. You're my sister, and I want to believe you. I want to fight for you. But with the hairpin and everything, there's nothing I can do for you. Setsuka's killer was you, Hibiki Otonokoji.
Me? I killed Suka? Why? Did I really?
Can we take that as a confession?
If what Miss Kanade says is true, Miss Hibiki will have no memory of the event, explaining her current irrational behavior. If more evidence were to exist, it may be possible to recount the specifics of Miss Chibiu's
Farewell,
death.
the Turnabout. Is this the last case of the second Ace Attorney game? Yes, it is, Daisukuma.
Which could also perhaps unlock Miss Hibiki's memories. But alas...
Wait, if that's true, then Hibiki herself doesn't even know what she did. Is it really safe to vote for someone? With so many unanswered questions?
A class trial should be run with the given evidence at its base. If the evidence points to a suspect, yet the suspect is able to provide a sound defense, then we would look elsewhere. But Sis didn't refute anything, because she can't remember. We don't exactly have any evidence to clear her name either.
I might have killed her. Ever since this morning, it's all a blur. I don't remember anything. Yet, maybe with the motive and all, I might have killed Suka, like Kanade said. What have I done?
Sis? So, I guess this is the end, right?
Were it so easy?
I don't know. I still feel like this ended too quickly. To do such a horrible thing to Setsuka, only to get caught easily by just the gate records?
Well, Kanade is smart after all. If it weren't for her, we'd have all lost the last trial. If she reached this conclusion, I think we can trust it.
Well, that was easier than I expected. I don't want to say underwhelming, but...
Why'd you do it, Sis? Why would you kill someone? Was it really to save Mom and Dad?
I don't know. Kanade, what should I do? I'm scared. I can't remember anything. Am I going to die?
Is this really the end? From the investigation, I expected this case to be much tougher, and yet we're done already? The killer made such a basic mistake? I feel like I should object. There's plenty of evidence backing Kanade up that I don't know what to say.
Is it already over?
Wait, we should think this through once more.
I saw Hibiki, so I'm convinced. I'm fine voting for her. I honestly just want to get out of this place. This is too much.
I don't know about that. I do agree that Miss Hibiki is almost certainly the culprit, yet I am also of the belief that this has ended too abruptly for my liking. And this is me talking.
For one of you, the game will end tonight. Dun dun dun.
Oh my. Am I detecting hints of uncertainties? I shall ask you all once more. Have you chosen Hibiki Otonokoji as the culprit? Last chance.
No!
Well, even if we are uncertain, where do we go from here? Hibiki herself even admitted it.
I don't know what to do anymore. Let's just end this.
Very well. Well, I'll admit I expected more from this trial. I suppose it cannot be helped. Ladies and gentlemen, use the panel in front of you to vote for who you believe to be the culprit. Will you make the right choice, or the dreadfully wrong one? What is it going to be?
You're all fucking stupid.
Oh, Shobai?
Congratulations. I finally give up on you all. How the hell did you guys even survive 2 of these? Guess if you want something done right, do it yourself. Everyone shut up and listen to me. I'm taking over this trial and that's that. To think I'd have to waste my time pointing out something so painfully obvious. Unbelievable.
So I guess this is where Shobai's meant to step it up. Well,
We've got about a dozen mysteries left unsolved, but who cares? Let's just go ahead and vote. That sounds smart. I used up some of my precious time to evaluate all your meager brain cells last trial, and you said something important there. The place where the body was discovered isn't necessarily the place they were killed.
yeah.
What? Did your brains dissolve or something? Why don't you explain to me how this case is any different? Since the ghost house doesn't have any out records, then that must mean the girl died there, right? If you genuinely believe that, after all that investigation, then why don't you take one for the team and kill yourself? You're a waste of oxygen.
Is it?
I agree with that.
Was I actually onto something with the gate records and it not automatically meaning that Setsuka was that Setsuka went in there?
What's your problem? After all the work we've done, you think you can just speak up and claim you're taking over?
Dude channeling his inner LTG. I don't know what that is.
Careful. He might be trying to confuse us.
The pool gate records.
Sora?
Hold on. Shobai might be onto something. The reason we focused on the ghost house was because Setsuka's dead body was found there. And the logs displayed an ID with an out record, right?
So?
There is another attraction with an ID that has no out records.
Really?
Everyone, please look at this. These are the gate records from the pool. I jotted them down earlier.
Nice of the princess to invite us over for a picnic, gay Luigi.
Huh? Hey, she's right. The person who entered at 1724, NU30D2, has no out records.
And it's also, at least I think it is. Yeah, it's before the entrances into the ghost house.
What the heck?
That's
What the
weird.
heck, man?
There was no one there when I checked earlier.
So the person that entered at 1910 and left at 1915 was you, Yoriko?
Yeah, when we were all searching for Setsuka, I went straight to the pool as soon as I entered Department C. But according to these records, shouldn't there have been someone else there when I investigated it? I didn't see anyone.
The ghost house also had logs of an ID without an out record, but I didn't see anyone either, remember? It's possible that the pool had a hidden area, just like the ghost house. Or perhaps... Well, anyway, it's true that the pool also has an ID without an out record, so this is something we shouldn't just gloss over. Sorry, I knew it was suspicious, but Hibiki's reaction was so convincing that I...
Wait, so you knew about this? You knew about this? And yet you thought it was fine to let these idiots choose that brat as the culprit? The fuck is wrong with you?
That's rich, coming from you. When was the last time you helped out in one of these without us twisting your arm first?
She's right. All you do is look down on us and make snide remarks.
You know, I'm a guy who tries to live his life as efficiently as possible. If something can be achieved without my input, why waste my time on it? I could use that time to calculate separate affairs in my head. I'm sure my time here isn't completely wasted. But apparently, I can't even trust you guys to handle one simple task. Had I not stepped in, we'd have voted wrong, failed the trial, and all died. You're welcome, by the way. Doesn't
Shut
matter
up.
what philosophy and code I live by. It won't mean shit if I'm dead. In this world, there are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I.
Enough games, Shobai! How can we be sure you're not trying to trick us?
Hang on, Shinji. Let's see where this goes. It might prove to be useful.
Are you sure we'll be alright?
Shobai is the literal definition of self-centered. He only cares about himself. He also just made it clear how much he hates wasting time. For him to act like this probably means that we're wrong. I also felt like something was wrong even before Shobai brought this up. I just couldn't figure out what.
Mr. Hashimoto, you mentioned that had we voted, we would have failed the trial, correct? Does that mean you were implying that Miss Hibiki is not actually the culprit?
Nah, I just thought I'd fuck around for a bit. Of course I am, dumbass. Why the hell would I be talking like this if I wasn't? And again, let me remind you that you're all still alive right now because of me. Don't think I'm gonna overlook that.
But I'm saying, don't tell me one thing, and then just because I think about something, or just because I talk to somebody, then all of a sudden it's off.
I expect to be paid in full with a sizable interest rate for this.
Just because you noticed one small thing, that doesn't mean you get to bully us. We don't need your help. We've got Kanade, and she's much smarter than you.
Watch it, Missy. Seriously? That girl's the smartest here? She's so smart. Why didn't she check the gate records of the other attractions?
Good point.
Man, every time I think I've heard the most pathetic thing, you guys prove me wrong. They're even more fucked than I thought.
Excuse me? Of course I checked the pool gate records. I strive to be thorough.
And yet you didn't bring it up?
That's so. Want to tell us why you withheld that little detail then?
Because it's irrelevant? Whether the pool has an out record or not, the body was still found in the ghost house. It's a natural procedure to prioritize our focus on the crime scene where the body was found. Surely, even someone of your oversized, egotistical nature should understand that, right?
That reminds me.
What do you want?
I'm terribly sorry for interrupting, but, well, I mentioned this to Sora, but, the pool today was closed during the daytime. I don't know if that helps at all, but,
The pool was closed? What do you mean by that, bro?
well, around about midday, I decided to take a break and head out to the pool. Was hoping to do a small workout. Apparently it was closed off. Something about sanitation in progress. So I had no choice but to turn back.
The pool was being sanitized?
Yeah. There was a small sign in front of the entrance saying that it was against the school rules to go inside.
Well, this is news to me.
I suppose it slipped my mind to notify you all of this process. However, Mr. Kasai is correct. Once every week, the pool in Satsuki Land is thoroughly sanitized. During this time, all the water in the pool is drained, and an abundance of chemicals are utilized. As a result, the facility is closed until the process is complete. The rule was more of a deterrent, if you will. Were someone to barge in and come across those chemicals, well, I dread to think what may have befallen them.
Or what they may have done to someone else with those chemicals,
Then I guess the pool doesn't matter. Nobody would risk their lives going inside with a warning like that.
And yet, I find myself most utterly perplexed. I do not recall there being plans to sanitize the pool today. Oops, forgive me. I forget my place. A teacher should do their utmost to refrain from interfering with the class trial.
Wait a minute, it wasn't today? So then, what about the sign Big Rose saw?
It's simple, really. The culprits put that there themselves.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, to be honest.
And why, you ask? Because they had some very important business in the pool. The type of business you don't want someone walking in on, if you catch my drift.
You dirty bastard.
In other words, Setsuka didn't die at the ghost house, but rather at the pool. Is that what you're trying to say, Shobai?
Pretty much. That girl over there has been talking out of her ass. And you chumps were thick enough to go along with it.
Not so fast, Mr. Hashimoto. It may be true that the pool also has an ID without an out record, but that alone does not disprove our earlier theory of the ghost house being Miss Chihibukuro's final resting place.
Yeah, 1-3 is also fine. Like, the only issue I think it has is just how the killer manages to end up getting the drop on both Tsurugi and Rei, with as, like, hyper-vigilant as those two are. But that's basically it. And arguably, and you could also argue maybe that the killer, given who they are, kind of could be argued to act a little bit out of character, mainly during the final debate, but, yeah. The only, that's really the only problem. And even that has an explanation of them just finally realizing that they've lost and just getting desperate. 1-1 is probably the worst one in that game. Yeah, I agree. It's not even that bad. I don't even think it's a particularly bad case. It just definitely comes across like, oh, this is just it's basically the kind of thing you'd come up with as a test case. Hi, Zachary.
What do you mean?
He's saying that Setsuka could have died in either place. It's still impossible to say for certain. Of course, Setsuka couldn't have been in two different places at the same time, so...
Yeah, okay. Let's skip ahead to the part where you stop talking so I can prove my point further. You, albino. Pull out the gate records of the ghost house again. There's a good girl.
That's Sora to you. And don't talk to me like that. Here you...
So, according to your little theory, the person who went out at 1757 is Setsuka Chihabukuro, right?
Cause only that ID has no out record.
Yeah, far from the worst in the franchise. 2-3 and B3-3 are way worse, but still bad. Yeah.
And the WN whatever, who entered at 1755 and left at 1942, is the culprit.
I mean,
right?
as a person, I wouldn't like Shobai, but as a character, I do like him. I don't think they also explained or even mentioned Kinji not knowing how to use a phone either. Well, he didn't need to know how to use it. Like, he could have, like, it's possible that the phone was already set to vibrate and he just had to figure out... I mean, it's possible that he could have, like, asked someone how to, like, about some of the functions off screen or fiddled with it himself. I don't think it would have been that big a problem. I would argue V3-3 is worse than 2-3 personally. I can see the argument for that, not just because of the culprit, but also because of the culprit, because the culprit, like even if you're ignoring the culprit's motives, the actions they take during the trial, during the trial and during the killings are just illogical. Like, they end up managing to kill someone, and then insist on going through with their plan, which only end... Like, they'd already created a seemingly impossible murder to solve, and yet they end up doing another convoluted murder scheme that ends up putting people on their trail, and then making it, and that ends up being what gets the ball rolling on him being executed. Not only that, I'm pretty sure Korekio didn't even cast a vote. There's 10 people in V3's third trial, and only 9 votes cast, from what I remember. And since no one else was executed, that would mean Korekio didn't even cast a vote. So, like, what's up with that? So they just give up? They made a serial killer who supposedly got away with 100-ish murders, but royally screwed up to one of the 2 we see on screen. Yeah, it's more like 90. It's more like 90 to 95-ish, but yeah. At least Mikon wasn't as obvious and was able to gaslight some people on her side, and she wasn't dumb. Yeah, that's true. Like, the problems with 2-3 are, like, logistical in terms of, like, how the murder was actually carried out. But, like, you can maybe go through a bit of, you can maybe come up with some explanations. And, like, I will grant you, like, depending on who you are, if you don't like falsetto voices, 2-3 can be a very hard trial to get through. Yeah, what makes it even worse is the one that could have been hard to solve is supposedly the one that they made up on the fly, while the plan was really the dumbest kill in the series. Yeah. Yeah, that could have been a thing. I've even heard I've even seen a couple of, like, ideas for how Korekio could have been implemented had he not been executed in that trial. And also, like, the potential, and also the fact that, like, the Scrum debate is kind of built for Angie, like, leading a cult of people and while building her up as the killer, and yet it just never capitalizes on that opportunity. What do you think about... Hi, Carolyn Bosom. Awesome. What do you think about Monocro so far, especially compared to Monokuma? I like Monocro. I don't really know if I have as many opinions about him. Like, Monokuma, of course, has the sort of, you know, suitable chaos you'd want out of a game like this, but honestly, I think Monocro is sort of what I would do if I had to write a fangan, like, have a mascot who's a little more serious. He doesn't have as much stage presence, but I still think it's, he doesn't have as much stage presence, but I personally like how he's a little more reserved. Korekio didn't have to kill Tenko because other girls would die. Why bother killing her when he wins? All girls are executed. Well, I think the issue is, in his mind, he has to do the kills personally, and everyone getting executed isn't him doing the killing personally, it's collateral damage. So that's why but yes, I do agree, him killing Tenko was completely pointless, and only served to just screw him over.
The HJ01B8 at 1928 was me, and the 4 simultaneous ones after were when us 4 first found the body.
So, by process of elimination, the remaining ones should be the culprits.
Monocro's closer to Monami than Monokuma in his role in the story. Yeah, that makes sense. I think you've got a point there.
That would mean that at least up until 1757, Setsuka Chiebukuro was still alive.
And, well, yeah, what was I gonna say? Well, yeah, like, Monocro isn't really there to be the face of the killing game. That's Mikado's job. I should probably mention I'm Carolyn's son using her account, and yes, she knows I'm using it, and hey, at least we got this he saw effect beam from V3 Trial 3, I guess. And we got a good comic, well, one part of a comic out of it, the Tankopter, but yeah.
And there's your problem. The culprit left in 1942, so that gives them an hour and 45 minutes to do everything that they needed to do.
Yeah.
What's so strange about that?
What, you never killed a man before? You think an hour and 45 minutes is enough to chop someone up like that?
Of course we haven't killed someone before. How are we supposed to know how long it would take?
Consider this your fact of the day. Carrying out a task like that would require at least 1 more hour to be done efficiently.
The more you know.
Especially with a case like this. Trust me, an hour and 45 minutes would make this look like an amateur job, and our end result was anything but amateurish.
What do you mean?
While you mouth breathers were standing around gaping, I took a closer look at the body. The edges were trimmed off with extreme precision, and they'd stitched up where the flesh had been torn. Pretty smart thinking since it stopped the insides from flowing out. Gotta say, I'm impressed. Whoever did this knew what they were doing. A real professional.
Regular
I'm thinking
1-3 is bad as well,
deductively.
though I do think that at least was obvious on purpose to an extent. They just chose the wrong way to go about it. I actually like 1-3. Like, I understand why people don't, and it is a bit of a chaotic mess, but I think it actually works for what it is, and it is somewhat realistic for how that would go down. I think it's a suitably chaotic case, and Celeste also, you know, on top of Celeste's performance, she also, I think, serves her role well as a sort of mid-boss for the game. I do think the decision to make the mascot a crow is pretty cool, considering the symbolism related to death, mystery, and wisdom crows have. Feels fitting for a killing game setting. Yeah, that too.
You say that as if any of us are as sick as you are. You're a criminal, right?
Funny how the best chapter 3 is the one without a double murder. We'll see. I'm reserving judgment for now.
You clearly know a lot about this. Don't think we've forgotten when you casually stabbed Sora on the first day here.
Give me enough time and yeah, I could probably pull something like this off. But that's all the more reason I can guarantee this. There's no way someone can manage this kind of task in less than 2 hours, even for a pro. I'll stake my life on that claim.
My, you do have quite the way with words, Mr. Hashimoto. Had this come from anyone else, I would have dismissed it as mere fiction. And yet, coming from such a prominent criminal, it certainly sounds far more believable. In addition, I believe the details that follow the dismemberment should also be reviewed. The culprit needed to have carefully put each body part on the pillars, as well as create room behind the folding screens. Furthermore, they would need some means of blocking out all the light in the event of one wandering upon the scene.
Sora told us it was dark when she entered.
Killing the lights would have been the final step, no question. You can't dismember a body in the dark. This means there would have been an almost 2-hour period where turning out the lights was not an option. Anyone could have walked in and seen the crime, and yet this whole murder has been nothing but meticulous. Are you all still so certain that doing all of this shit in a mere hour and 45 minutes makes perfect sense?
Gotta say, Lanu's just really been thinking about, like, realistic time frames. Good on him. I think I mentioned this a bit at the end of the last stream, having one victim dodges all the problems with juggling 2 cases. Yeah, I agree, and I mean, I've even thought about a way that I've even thought of a way I'd get around that, where only one murder, like, you have 2 victims, but only one of those murders actually gets solved, and then everyone reconvenes the next day to, like, it's not an official class trial, of course, but they reconvene in, like, the dining hall or wherever they meet up. And then they just figure out who the killer is, and if it's one of the people who's still there, well, then that person gets put on probation. DR1 feels way more realistic than the other 2 games. V3, I don't think I need to explain for, but DR2 just failed at handling the realism, but that's just my opinion. No, you're definitely right. Trigger Happy Havoc is definitely, like, the most grounded game, and it's probably why I tend to have fewer issues with the writing in it. I say fewer, mind. Like, it's not free from... It's not completely without problems, but the problems in, like, suspension of disbelief are definitely lesser in that game.
When you put it like that, I guess not.
Oh, yeah. And those anomalous blood traces? I didn't see jack regarding the pieces of flesh lying around the ghost house.
They could have found a way to take care of the flesh parts, Shobai. Not everyone's as lazy as you are.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you struggling to hear the sound of a voice that isn't yours? Taking care of the insides was a necessity.
V3 in general, I've kind of soured on them. The first case is still pretty good. That case I'm a bit split on, like, because it has to pull off some bullshit, and I mean some bullshit, in order for it to work the way it does. And I'm not talking about, like, the case of mistaken identity that you solve at the end of the game. I won't go into it here, but yeah, like, yeah, I do find it hard to go back to V3 I do find it hard to go back to V3, and it is one of the reasons why I'd kind of like to figure out a way to write a continuation of the game. I am enjoying Shobai and Kanade's back and forth. I hope I'm not, like, sounding like I'm not interested in the trial, because I am, but the discussion with you guys is definitely interesting.
No matter how careful they were, there should have been some traces of the cut-off flesh ends lying around somewhere.
Case 1 of V3 is kind of overrated to me, in my opinion. Yeah, I agree, Daisakuma. I think it is. It's cool in the moment, but when you actually start to unpack it and realize, like, what the game had to do in order to make that work, and not from, like, this is how the murder happened, and not from a standpoint of this is how the murder happened, but from a standpoint of this is how we make sure it's not too obvious, that's where I start to have problems.
And again, the ghost house didn't have any of those. But if you consider this being done in the pool, different story.
And keep in mind, I'm not even saying that, like, the choice of killer is a bad one. I don't think that, like... I know a lot of people complain about Kaede, but, I know a lot of people, would have rather the roles been reversed with Kaede and Shuichi, but I think it works for, like, the story that's being told. And, it's something that has definitely prompted plenty of fanfiction. I don't have that big a problem. Everything you just said perfectly describes V3.5 to me. V3.5, I also... This could be just because I'd started to get a little too good at predicting the tropes. I pretty much called what was going to happen, or at least what the final outcome was, well ahead of the conclusion, and so it just kind of felt like it was on rails.
You could easily get rid of the flesh and blood just by throwing them down the drain.
In terms of it being fun when you play it, but really not standing up to analysis. Oh, yeah, I agree with that. There are... Weirdly, I feel like it was kind of the reverse for me. One Ace Attorney case that definitely stands up to that description is Turnabout Sisters. It's a very engaging in the moment, but when you actually, like, start to look at it, it's one of the weakest standard length cases in the series. Also, didn't Shuichi mention they need someone's handbook to open the library door? If he mentioned that in trial, Samugi would be done, at least if I remember correctly. He didn't mention that, but I don't think that him explaining that would have actually solved anything. Also, I think Setsuka's... Also, I'm just noticing this. I think Setsuka's portrait is supposed to be of, like, pool cues and billiards balls.
Okay, but if the killer didn't cut up the body in the ghost house, then what was up with all that blood?
Blood packs.
Right, there was so much of it. I was sure that must have been the place where Setsuka's body was cut up.
If Setsuka didn't die in the ghost house, then why were there blood trails and an excessive quantity of blood? Let's turn this around. Instead of wondering why, I need to figure out where all this blood came from. I will say, after watching a Let's Play of V3, I did notice where the killer was picking up the shot put ball. The narration in her point of view never said that she put the shot ball up. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. not only do you not, like, the part in the warehouse I can excuse, but the part I can't is the classroom where supposedly Kaede grabs a broom and then says, "I dropped everything I was holding." That, and I don't recall in her POV her saying or thinking that she closed the vent after she opened it. Funny enough, there's a fan game in development by someone named Brian Cell called V3 Aftermath, which is supposed to be some kind of epilogue to V3. Oh, alright, I'll have to set a reminder for that. Sheesh. Geez, we've really been getting sidetracked, haven't we? No, you're not distracting at all. Like, I'm personally enjoying the, discussion we're having. Where was it?
Got it. That's right. The blood packs. Maybe the blood we found wasn't from Setsuka, but from the blood packs at the infirmary.
Wouldn't be the first time they've been used that way. Even into this series.
Infirmary? Why them? We don't have any proof that somebody used them.
No, it's wrong. You have me. I mentioned this to Sora right before the trial. When I was doing my routine stock take this morning, I noticed that all the blood packs had suddenly disappeared.
Exactly. Thanks to Tedia's continued diligence, it's definitely a possibility.
Yeah, if you're ever planning a murder, you'd better hope in one of these scenarios, you'd better hope there's no one like Teruya to notice what tools you end up taking.
You even checked the infirmary stock?
Like I said before, I want to help as much as I can. I figured it was better to be safe than sorry and cover as much ground as possible.
Teruya, if you had noticed the blood packs being taken, why didn't you tell us sooner? Do you really not trust us that much?
Huh? Wait, did something happen between you guys?
We can talk about this later. Right now we've got a murder to solve and a trial
That's
to
some
complete.
okay. That's some good writing there. The fact that Shinji is kind of calling Teruya on him not sharing information because of him falling out with the group, and then Nikkei having to ask what happened because he wasn't there for all that.
Well, what do you think, Shobai? Does this sound plausible enough for you?
Plausible? Nah, it's a certainty. This shouldn't even be a discussion point. No, well, except for learning that we have a freak here who's so dull, his entire personality is, I keep a record of random crap. There were a bunch of empty blood packs thrown away near the ghost house. All the blood in the ghost house is fake. A small performance by the culprit.
But why go through the hassle of...
To divert our attention to the ghost house, of course. And it almost worked. We focused purely on the ghost house until Shobai stood in. The place where we find a body and the place where the victim was killed don't always have to be the same place. Like he said, we should have learned that from the last trial. I guess the horrifying way in which we found the body this time was enough of a shock for us all to gloss over that.
If they had put that much effort into the ghost house, that means it really was their intent to trick us into believing Setsuka died there.
Then it's settled. The actual crime happened at the pool, not at the ghost house.
Yep. The disturbing amount of blood in Corpse's layout was made as dramatic as it was to really sell that.
Yeah, some pewter and fun time. That's one of the things I liked about DRA1 when I was replaying it with Noah. There was never a dull moment. The only time I can think of where that maybe wasn't the case was Chapter 3 being a little bit slower paced, but that's literally it.
You'd take one look and it'd be impossible to unsee. It's basically screaming at you that it's the crime scene.
I get using a few, but to use all of those blood packs. What if there was an emergency and someone needed a blood transfusion or something?
Well, I mean, you think the culprit would care about that?
Not to worry, Mr. Kasari. I will see to it that the infirmary stock is fully replenished once this trial has concluded.
Where are you getting all this blood from?
Something still doesn't quite add up, though. Given the amount in each packet, there should have been far more at the scene than there actually was.
The packets held even more than that?
Let's put a pin in that for now. Maybe they miscalculated the amount of blood they needed and tossed the rest out. The important part is that the crime happened at the pool, not the ghost house. Are y'all finally ready to accept that?
Also, credit to this moment here establishing a reason for the brutality beyond just shock value. Oh yeah.
Well, the only attractions that had IDs with no out records are the ghost house and the pool. And we just discussed that the ghost house couldn't have been the place where Setsuka was killed. So, by process of elimination...
Maybe if you guys had more than 2 brain cells, we wouldn't have wasted an hour reaching the obvious.
When did Seobai become the MVP of this trial?
Despite being selfish, lazy, rude, and brash, the Thing is smarter than we give him credit for. He might even give Kanade a run for her money.
You alright there?
Kanade? What's wrong? I'm sorry. I just never took you for the comedic type, Shobai. Sora! All these contradictions, yet you stick to your delusions. That theory really was the epitome of pitiful. Okay. Let's assume for now that the ghost house wasn't the place Setsuka died. Then what about the pool? Are you saying that the pool is a possible place? Is it not? Sora, the pool gate records.
Excuse me?
The pool gate records. Show them to me now.
Alright.
We can ignore the last 2 records listed here. Those were made by Yoriko when we were searching for Setsuka. Let's take a look at the ones before them. Whether it's the pool or the ghost house, there is an ID without an out record, and that's Setsuka. We're all in agreement on this, right? Then Setsuka's ID should be the one that entered at 1724, and U30D2.
Yup.
If you look at the gate records here, 2 IDs entered at 844 and 845, and left at 922 and 954 respectively. In other words, there was no one at the pool between 9:54 till 12:54. This leaves us with only one suspect, who entered at 12:54. CN9FU3. If Setsuka died at the pool, the person with this ID must be the culprit, correct?
I guess so. What about that?
Think back like 5 seconds, Yuki. Shobai said the ghost house couldn't be the scene of the crime, as the culprit wouldn't have time to dismember the body. But our suspect at the pool, CN9FU3, left only 1 minute after Setsuka had entered. What? What was it you said again, Shobai? You think an hour and 45 minutes is enough to chop up someone like that? About 2 hours? Maybe. 1 minute? Please. Even if Setsuka died immediately upon entering, you're faced with an impossible task. But that means it couldn't have been either the ghost house or the pool.
Wait, just because Setsuka might have died at the pool, that doesn't mean they had to rearrange her body there. Couldn't they just have killed her at the pool, then left with the body and done the rest at the ghost house?
A fair point, Miss Sora. After all, the gates would not have been an issue for a corpse.
Alright. So you're saying that the culprit somehow took care of the scene at the pool and left at 17:54 carrying Setsuka's dead body to the ghost house?
Well, since she didn't die at the ghost house, that means it had to have been the pool. So surely it's the only way the culprit could have...
Wrong again, Sora. I'm sorry to inform you that this is also an impossibility.
How come?
The pool is at Department C, while the ghost house is at Department A. Complete opposite ends of the park. Do you honestly think anyone could walk that distance without being noticed and while carrying a dead body?
You overlook something, my dear.
By your theory, the culprit needs to leave immediately after killing Setsuka. So no time for cutting up the body. They'd be carrying Setsuka's dead body for all to see. Come on, Sora. You know I'm right. Even if you somehow pulled it off and made it to the ghost house, it would have been too late to start the dismemberment then. I'm sorry, but this theory just doesn't work.
So we're back at square one? Why isn't anything adding up? Where did Setsuka die? And how did she end up like that?
No matter how you look at it, this is starting to seem theoretically impossible.
Standard ultimate guitarist behavior.
That's true. I don't want to admit it, but Shobai found a gaping flaw in my reasoning.
Shobai versus Kanade sounds like a boxing match Vince McMahon would commentate.
We need to retrace our steps. It's possible that we're missing something staring us right in the face.
No need for that. The crime is still possible even if we assume that Setsuka Chiebukuro died in the pool.
Really? Shobai, we just explain why that can't be. Can you stop leading us in circles? The pool theory had a clear contradiction.
Bullshit. It's entirely doable if you consider there being an accomplice.
Or the monorail.
An accomplice?
Shobai, you might not know this since you're always sleeping, but it's highly unlikely that we'll ever have accomplices.
I like how Sora sort of mumbled the always sleeping part.
No matter how much they may help with setting the crime up, only the killer gets to escape the island. There are no benefits to being an accomplice.
Fucking stop interrupting and let me finish, okay? The twin who won't stop crying who you thought was the killer? Yeah, she definitely didn't do it, that's for sure. But she did enter the ghost house and leave her hairpin there. So we can't say she's unrelated to this case either.
So you're saying that my sis is an accomplice?
Wait, what's that supposed to mean?
You said it yourself, didn't you? You don't remember anything about today. And your sister said your mind shuts down when you're in a pinch. An accomplice who helped carry out the crime, yet retains no memory of doing so. It's almost too perfect, don't you think?
What are you trying to say?
By my theory, the real culprit used the crybaby sister in their own crimes. Find some way to put her in that state, and then use her for your own means. Like a puppet, if you will.
And the only person who'd know that...
Once the deed is done, all you've got to do is wait for somebody to snap her out of that state, and boom! You've got yourself an accomplice with no memory and no means of betraying you.
Oh? Just one moment, Mr. Hashimoto. Does that not raise a glaring issue?
They didn't have the hidden immunity idol.
If what you're saying is true, would that not mean that the culprit already knew of Miss Hibiki's condition? Her ability to lose her memory in the event of receiving a mental shock?
No shit. That's why the person who knew about that has to be the real culprit.
Someone who knew about Hibiki's secret used her as an accomplice. Wait, the only person who readily knew that fact was... You shall be avenged.
It can only be you! The only person who already knew about Hibiki's tendency to lose her memories is you, Kanade Otonokoji.
Oh, the irony is palpable, ain't it? By opening your mouth and trying to flex your intelligence, you dug your own grave. How about a round of applause?
Yeah! Woo! I don't know what's going on here. I'm just glad to see people again.
Kanade Otonokoji. She's the one who did it.
Oh, wait a minute. Kanade's the culprit?
What, you got a problem with that?
Well, not exactly. But she helped us throughout the last trial, so...
To be fair, Emma helped us out during Yuri's case, and... well, we saw how that ended.
Wait, aren't we getting a bit ahead of ourselves? Not everything has been confirmed yet, and we can't say for sure whether there was an accomplice or not.
Mr. Hashimoto, why do you believe with such certainty that these two are the culprits?
I mean, I know I did the trial all by myself because we were about to die if I didn't, but after all that shit, you're telling me you still need me to dumb things down further?
The reason why Shobai is so fixated on Kanade being the culprit. Let's listen to what he has to say.
The list is pretty lengthy if you stop and think about it. First, the state of the body.
The state of the body? You mean the dismemberment?
Oh, whoops. Dang it. Didn't mean to...
What do you think was the cause of death?
Huh? She was dismembered, right?
We don't know if that was the official cause of death yet, bro. The file must have excluded it for a reason.
That's right. It said that something sharp was the murder weapon.
So perhaps she was stabbed by a knife and then dismembered?
Shouldn't there be some traces of her body being stabbed if that were the case?
Were there none?
Every body part was checked, yet there weren't any traces of trauma on the body.
Then how exactly did Miss Chiebukuro actually die?
There must be a piece of evidence that made Shobai doubt Kanade. Let's find what makes Kanade suspicious in the other statements.
The list is pretty long.
We don't...
So, shouldn't there be...
Were there none?
Every body part was checked, yet there weren't any traces
What?
of trauma on the body.
Then how exactly did Miss Chiebukuro actually die?
Wait, did I miss?
Shouldn't there be...
Were there none?
Every body part was checked, yet there weren't any traces...
No, that's wrong!
Oh. I guess I did miss. Must have been off by a hair.
Wait, Nikkei, did you say that we searched through every body part?
Yeah, that's not going to be something I could unsee for the rest of my life. It took time, but I'd say we just about managed to.
When you see Nikkei, you mostly refute him, remember that? Guess he's Haruhiko.
I was just wondering if that really was the case. At a glance, it would seem like every body part was carefully laid on the altar. But if you look past the gruesome gore and add them up, one part was missing, the abdomen. Right, Shobai?
What, do you need my approval for every small thing now? Yeah, the girl's right. The body is missing from the hip up to right below the chest.
The Monochrome file mentioned that too. The area around the stomach was missing.
Wait, if they deliberately got rid of that part, that means there could have been some big clue on the abdomen area.
I wonder if they burned it in the fireplace.
That must have been where she was stabbed. They got rid of that part to try and hide the cause of death. Am I right?
But why? There's no way that a simple stab wound could be so problematic for the killer that they had to hide it.
Wrong.
Shobai?
You kids might not know this, but the stabbing mark on a body is different depending on the hand that you use. In layman's terms, you can figure out whether the stabber is right or left-handed just by looking at the wounds.
Really? I guess that's cool and all, but what does that have to do with hiding the cause of death?
Statistically, they say that only 10% of all people are left-handed. The other 90% are right-handed. If we apply that here, 1.6 people would be left-handed. We'll round that up to 2 for the sake of this argument, and the fact that you can't have 0.6 of a person. Now, what would happen if the wound indicated that a left-handed person had stabbed the missing abdomen?
You're suggesting that the culprit is left-handed?
Kanade, I'm asking this just in case, but what hand do you usually use?
Is this true with the right-handed and left-handed stab wounds? I don't actually know, but considering, like, how much is... Between stuff like blood coagulation and, like, entry and exit wounds, and the fact that it's acknowledged that a bullet... that a bullet being lodged in your body is worse than a bullet passing through you, I wouldn't be surprised if this was true.
My left hand.
He shoots, he scores!
Don't know why she'd tell the truth about that.
What just happened? That was amazing.
You figured all of that out just from the missing abdomen? How in the world does your thought process work?
Fascinating. Mr. Hashimoto, I must ask. Just what led you to believe that Miss Kanade was left-handed? I assume her dominant hand played a role in your suspicions of her, no?
That girl did some performance thingy on the second island, right? In front of the shrine?
Yeah, I thought he'd bring that up, because, she'd have to play the guitar.
The guitar she used was left-handed.
You not only noticed that, but remembered it all this time? Were you just pretending that you weren't interested in us, but secretly too shy to admit it?
Don't make me laugh. Perhaps you're under the impression that you've solved the case with your incredible intellect.
Lying about what hand she uses is more suspicious, honestly. Yeah, that's true, but, like, I guess she must have assumed that she'd get called on it anyway.
But if we're talking about lefties, there are plenty of people here who are left-handed besides me. Like Iroha.
Oh, wait, what? Me? And how did you know that I was left-handed? No, wait, why am I worrying about that now?
Fun fact, I'm actually left-handed myself. That doesn't mean I killed her, though.
You always grip your brush with your left hand, right? How could anyone miss anything that simple? And Shobai, you still haven't solved the contradiction of the gate records. The culprit needed to somehow move the body from the pool to the ghost house of Department A. Even if we believe there was an accomplice, that feat is still impossible.
I'm so sorry, Missy, but that ain't quite the case.
What?
Did you really think that I'd suspect you purely on something as flimsy as stab wounds? That's just a theory. It's not like the abdomen was actually found and I had conclusive proof of the stab wounds. I just tried to come up with a reason as to why the culprit would go through the hassle of getting rid of that part.
Then how do you solve the contradiction of the gate records?
Well, you're watching me right now, Daisakuma.
Let's take a step back for a second. What do you think was the reason this contradiction occurred at both the ghost house and the pool in the first place?
Well, a person must use their e-handbook plus in order to go through the gate. And they need to be alive, too. But since Setsuka was dead, only her in records were recorded.
Watch it, fun time.
So, when we ruled out the places without any suspicious out records, only the pool and the ghost house were left.
Okay, now think about that once more. Only a virtual ID gets saved on the gate records, right? You all just assumed that this ID was Setsuka because it had no out records.
Yeah, get to the point already.
Impatient much? To put it simply, all the gate records of the attractions can be manipulated.
What?
Wait a second! The gates always require you to use your e-handbook plus to enter or leave! How in the world would you manipulate that?
We have to use an e-handbook plus, big man, and that's just it. Monochrome never once said that you have to use your own e-handbook plus. It was yet another rule that was left ambiguous and able to be exploited.
Then that means...
Yep, you can use someone else's e-handbook plus to go through the gates.
No way! Surely you can't be serious.
100%. And if you ever call me Shirley again, I'll make sure you live to regret it. Besides, someone else in here can actually attest to it allowing other e-handbook pluses to work.
Oh, I remember now. Back when we first arrived on the third island.
Oh, perfect timing. One of you give me your e-handbook plus for a sec. Doesn't matter who. Shobai. You don't normally approach us first, Shobai. What's gotten into you? Enough, just give me that thing. I need to test something. No. What do we get out of this? You've hardly helped us willingly, so why should we help you for free? Then you, give me yours. Me? But why? Iroha, at times like these you need to stand strong. Show Shobai that you can't be intimidated easily. You're right. Why would I give you my e-handbook plus? You haven't even thanked me for last time when I woke you up. Give it to me now unless you want your head ripped off! Take it! I actually haven't seen Airplane's computer. Iroha, don't just hand it to him.
So the reason you took Iroha's e-handbook plus was to try that out?
Well, yeah, I think that was obvious.
Yep.
I assume you all realize the implications of what Mr. Hashimoto's suggestion means to us. Our entire basis of the gate records have been wrong from the start.
But even if what Shobai said is true, doesn't that make it all the more challenging for us to identify who is who?
Nah, not if we repeat what you guys did last trial. Start with the conclusion and work your way backwards. If we assume that the gate records were rigged, then the case begins to unfold. My theory is this. Setsuka Chiabukuro died at the pool, and the time of death was probably around morning.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that would make sense.
Give me the records again. I'll go over them one by one for you. If you look at the pool gate records, Setsuka Chiebukuro's ID is probably IS3JZ2. They went in at 8:45. DJ6SX7, or should I say Kanade Otonakoji over there, entered 1 minute ahead of her.
But that same ID left at 9:22. If she was the killer, she'd have only 40 minutes to spare.
And this is where the accomplice comes into play. I've already indicted Little Miss Chrysalot as our partner in crime here, remember?
It's where I'm serious and don't call me Shirley comes from. Yeah, I have heard the line used before, but yeah, I'm not really that big a movie guy, and yet I at least I have, like, had people who have kind of been surprised at me not being a big movie buff.
9:22 is exactly when she entered the pool, and she did that using the e-handbook plus of her little sis.
So what's going on now? I don't quite understand.
Me neither. I'm sorry for being so slow.
Oh, I see. How devious. You believe Miss Kanade had told Miss Hibiki to wait outside, and then delivered the e-handbook plus to her from within. The gates only check if a human being passes through them, so objects are not technically classified.
The little shit was shown the body by the slightly littler shit. And just as we were told, she receives a mental shock and goes into a fugue state.
Fugue, that's how it's pronounced.
Without a doubt, the best crime tool I've ever seen. An accomplice that loses her memory. Talk about perfect. After that, the littler shit left the pool at 9:54 and set up the pool sanitation signs so no one would enter.
My head's spinning. I thought that the out record at 9:54 was IS3JZ2. Wasn't that Setsuka?
According to this theory, she would have already died by that point. Now that it's been confirmed that you don't necessarily have to use your own e-handbook plus to gain entry, that ID would have been Hibiki using Setsuka's e-handbook plus.
What about after that?
The littler shit came back at 12:54, carrying the tools needed to dismember the body. To help throw everyone off the trail, she'd use her own e-handbook plus this time. After spending about 5 hours cutting the body up, they both left at 17:24 and 17:25 with the body pieces.
Yeah, Kanade's younger by like 10 seconds, right?
This was probably when they got rid of the sign. The little shit throws it over the gate at 17:24. And the littler shit puts it back in the swimming pool, leaving it at 17:25. It's as simple as that. Once again, they can use their own e-handbook pluses this time. Now, what do you think will be the end result of the gate records if we follow these steps?
The end result? Well?
Huh? Hibiki used Kanade's e-handbook plus when entering the pool, right? And since Kanade's ID already had an in record, it would be displayed as an out record. So when Hibiki left through the gates, the resulting output would have been an in record.
I see. So that solves the mystery of the missing out record. If we apply Shobai's theory to all of the pool gates records, we now know the following. 8:44 and 8:45. The two records here would be from Kanade and Setsuka respectively. Our first out record was at 9:22. This was Hibiki using Kanade's e-handbook plus to enter the pool. Half an hour later, the out record at 9:54 was Kanade using Setsuka's e-handbook plus to leave. She returns with her own e-handbook plus at 12:54, making sure to bring the tools needed to dismember Setsuka. Once that was done, Hibiki and Kanade both left at 17:24 and 17:25 respectively. This was the first time Hibiki's e-handbook plus had been used on the gate, so the records logged it as an in, which means the ID without an out record, NU30D2, was not Setsuka, but actually Hibiki.
That's a good one. That's a good little trick.
It's getting even more complicated. Can someone give me a simpler explanation?
Sora just gave a simple explanation. You couldn't even understand that? What is wrong with you?
Don't open that door, Miss Kaguya. You forget that she is an idiot after all.
That's not very nice.
Wait a minute. I get why you're assuming that the culprit dismembered the body from 12:54 and 17:24. They would need ample time after all. But there's a 3-hour window from 9:54 to 12:54 where your culprit was away from the pool.
Yeah, Golem, sorry, Simputer, I remember Golem was here a couple of streams ago kind of explaining how when you're writing a mystery like this, you start from the end result and sort of work backwards, like writing how they did it, and then, all the clue. I mean, yeah, it's basically just working backwards, figuring out how they, to explain how they did it, and then what complications are there in order to make the case have more twists and turns.
Why would it take 3 hours for the culprit, me, according to your theory, to find the dismemberment tools?
Who cares? As long as the signpost was out in front of the pool, you could have taken as long as you needed.
Iroha, you said that you saw Hibiki enter the ghost house a little before 18 o'clock, right? So that must have been at 1755, where they arrived from the swimming pool.
And we can easily deduce that this is when the twins moved the body to the ghost house. Well done, team. A good group effort.
And yet, nobody can explain how we did it. Does carrying a body around in broad daylight sound smart to you?
Me? Well, I personally would have no qualms with such. However...
Remember, we still haven't addressed how one would move from Department C to A without getting caught.
I actually wrote something similar for my trial. I got inspired by those gates, and yeah, I first come up with how it was done and then explanation. Yeah, because if you're trying to write it from the very beginning, it doesn't really work if you're trying to start from the first point in time.
The only things Shobai has deduced are how the gate records can be explained and how the murder could have happened in the pool. But even he doesn't know how the body was moved, right?
I hate to kill the mood, but she definitely has a point. If the body had already been dismembered, then you'd have the head, torso, both arms, hands, legs, and feet. 10 pieces altogether. It wouldn't be easy to move them all around inconspicuously.
The first record of someone entering the ghost house was 1755. Since we have Iroha as a witness, we can be certain it was Hibiki who entered at that time. But if we're going with Shobai's theory, the culprit left the pool at 1755. That's only 30 minutes to move the body to the ghost house.
Well, now that we know there was an accomplice, isn't it possible they split the work between them?
So both of them carry around 5 body pieces in the open. Do you really think that's possible?
No, of course not. That was stupid. I'm sorry.
I've got it. Maybe they had some sort of bag they put the body inside, like the ones in movies and manga. A body bag. A bag for bodies.
And what if you ran into someone? How are you going to explain that away? Hi guys, I just found this bag of body parts. Don't mind me.
Miss Kanade really has highlighted a crucial conundrum. Forget the time constraints. The element of stealth when transporting the body should become our new focal point.
Monorail, trash bag, and one of them runs interference.
Hang on, I think I just figured it out.
What is it, Nikkei?
The monorail! We have the monorail that goes around each department in Satsuki Land.
Actually, wait. That have worked. Maybe?
If they use that, it would only take 5 minutes to travel between departments. Plus, you wouldn't be seen either.
Oh, that's right.
They would have had to leave... I mean, yeah, it would be possible if, assuming they catch the 18 train. The monorail. It certainly would permit the culprit to be both swift and inconspicuous. But was it really possible for the culprit to use the monorails?
Got it. Sorry, Nikkei, but I'm afraid that's impossible.
Say what? Surely we should at least consider it a possibility.
Okay, yeah, alright, right. This is where they... This is the part where they say it was the parade dolls.
No. By the theory we're going with, the culprit must have moved the body between 1725 and 1755. If you look at the monorail timetable, you'll quickly see that the monorails weren't active at that time.
What? No way!
Monocro did say that the monorails were only active every other hour.
Yeah, I think I can attest to that. I was at Satsuki Land early for the parade at 1800, but I don't remember seeing any monorails pass by.
Monorail? Yeah, that's it. She used the monorails. Nice one, Newsy.
What? But didn't Sora just say that?
Yeah, cool, whatever. So first she leaves the pool at 1725 and moves the pieces to the Department C monorail station. This shouldn't take long, right? The pool and the station are both within the same department. She then leaves the body there and uses Setsuka's E-Handbook Plus to call up Bubblehead to the Mirror House. At that point, the older sis moves to the Ghost House at Department A, to deliberately be seen by Bubblehead entering the ghost house.
You're suggesting she did it on purpose? Why would she do that?
Probably to use Hibiki as a scapegoat in the trial. And we all took the bait. Each of us thought Hibiki was the culprit from the beginning, based on Iraha's account.
Wait, but did you all think of me when you heard Bubblehead?
I mean, it's not the first time you've been called that.
I mean, you are an airhead after all. There's not much going on up there in the brain department.
Rude! Kado, leave Iroha alone. Why don't you pick on someone your own size, you worthless criminal? Ugh, I can't wait for the day someone kills you.
Oh, I know I've got a heart, because it's breaking.
I'll kill the both of you if you don't shut up and let me focus, damn it. 1755. The older sis enters the ghost house to cut the fuse and put out the fire, creating a blackout inside. She's then gotta move her ass, cause there's another gate record only 2 minutes after she entered. Since she used Setsuka Chiebukuro's e-handbook plus when she entered, she uses her own when leaving the place. This way, 2 in outputs get recorded, and she leaves no sign that she ever left the place. Y'all saw the parade together at 1800, right? The littler shit goes to see that, while the little shit goes to the Department A monorail station. The monorail will start moving at 1800, so she rides it from Department A to C, and carries the body parts back to Department A through the monorail. This way, you'd be able to solve both the time and stealth issue.
Amazing. It looked to be impossible at first. But now we have a clear grasp on what actually happened. That was incredible, Shobai.
And then, what next? Go on.
There's not much left after this. Hide the body parts somewhere near the ghost house, and after confirming that albino over there left in 1936, go inside the ghost house with the body. Here, you can use Setsuka Chiebukuro's e-handbook plus again at the gate.
Having used Miss Chiebukuro's e-handbook plus when first entering the ghost house, this record would be an out.
Exactly. Everything left is simple. Set up the body on the altar, create a pool of blood using the blood packs, et voila! We're done. The newly reformed ghost house, Murder Manor, now with an actual body. Going back to the records for the ghost house, we can sum it up like so.
I see. I'd probably have to go over this. Like, I do chant. Like, I'd probably have to go over this just to make sure that I am not getting anything mixed up. But yeah, it makes sense. Them keeping both handbooks on their person. I think we'll appreciate this being used.
How about it? This is the truth of the case. Kanade Otonokoji is the culprit, and Hibiki Otonokoji is the accomplice.
It can't be.
Honestly, I'm often hesitant when it comes to trusting Shobai, based on his usual behavior. But...
yeah, Kanade... I feel like Kanade's going to, Kanade's got... I mean, with all respect, Kanade's got to have some crazy breakdown at some point. This makes sense once you get it all down, but it's a lot of info to take in at once. Yeah.
his argument is logically sound, and his reasoning is perfect.
Kanade, are you really the culprit? Did you really murder Suka? And I helped you without any knowledge of that? What should I do? Why don't I remember anything? What's going on anymore? I don't know what to do.
Sis, don't cry. I think it's safe to say we can strike everything the scruffy wannabe detective said from the record.
Got any rebuttals, small fry? I'm all ears.
Rebuttal? Look at you, all full of confidence and arrogance. You really do think you've cracked this case, don't you?
Let's get straight to the point, shall we? You're completely wrong. Full of contradictions. Again.
I think it's the fact. I think part of what makes Kanade's like more unhinged sprites so unsettling is that a good chunk of them don't have her like changing like. And I'm not saying that like and I'm not saying that like anyone's cheap or lazy for doing this, but like it's the fact that she doesn't really change her pose or body language at all, other than, like, turning her head slightly.
And to think everyone in here was gaping at that shoddy theory. My, you all are quite something else. Are you sure you graduated from kindergarten?
What? Everything we just went over was foolproof. What part of it is a contradiction?
Here's a newsflash for the man of the news. This theory holds as much water as Setsuka's body holds blood.
Oh, you take that back! But yeah, there's also the fact that her voice, there's also the fact that her voice is noticeably changing. VA is doing a good job. Probably mostly a practical thing to cut down on artwork, but it still works really, really well. I mean, it's already a thing in most projects like this where you have like a bunch of, I guess, key poses, and that way you can just change the expression a few times and get a lot more sprites out of something, out of a single character.
Let's address the two big elephants in the room first. Shobai, you told us that after leaving the pool, we left the body at the station and used the monorails to move to the ghost house, right? Remind me, whose e-handbook plus did we use when entering the ghost house?
He said it was Setsuka's.
And do you think that's possible?
Well, yeah, it is, ain't it? The culprit must have had her e-handbook plus ever since she was murdered.
Oops, wrong. While it's very much possible to pass through the gates using someone else's e-handbook plus, this only applies to e-handbook pluses that are active.
Fuck.
Shobai?
No. No. Shit. She's right. I made a mistake.
Weeby News, when playing this game, had a theory that she fakes her high-pitched happy voice. Yeah. Old man forgot to take his Prevagen? What?
Oh, I see. Even if you have Setsuka's e-handbook plus, only Setsuka herself can turn it on.
You just use her severed hand. It wouldn't be that hard.
Well, why does that matter? Didn't we run into the same issue last time? Emma could use Kokoro's e-handbook plus as long as she had her fingers. Problem solved.
But bro, that was only possible because Emma cut off and kept Kokoro's finger on her at all times. Shobai specifically said that the culprit left the body at the station. If that's the case, then it would have been impossible to turn Setsuka's e-handbook plus on at the ghost house.
It takes a long time to get from Department A to Department C. Even if you use Setsuka's fingerprint to turn the e-handbook plus on at the pool and ran all the way there, it would have turned off by the time you reached the ghost house.
Miss Kanade is rather astute. I believe this matter was also brought up in the last trial. An e-handbook plus will enter sleep mode if unused after a period of time. Only the owner's fingerprints will awaken it.
Oh, wait. Speaking of Emma, why didn't the culprit just do the same thing she did?
You mean cutting the fingers off and carrying them?
Too obvious.
Doesn't matter as to why. What matters is that they didn't. Setsuka's wrists were cut off, but her fingers were intact.
I mean, maybe she carried Setsuka's hand to turn on your e-handbook? Just as long as you had the fingers.
Oh, Iroha, don't come up with the theories that I've come up with.
Nah, that's probably not it. You can't just carry two disembodied hands out in the open.
What about a trash bag?
Even if they're smaller than a whole corpse, you'd be fucked if they started bleeding. Plus, then we'd just have gone in a circle when we wonder as to how they'd carry the hands without getting caught.
Maybe they got lucky and had some trick to carry them without getting caught.
Really? Luck? Sure, I'll pretend that makes sense. Let's move on to the next problem.
Hey, you can't just jump around like that! I thought I had a good idea!
Yes, you did a rather mediocre warm-up act. But now observe, as I bring forth my latest single, You're Full of Shit. Shobai said that the culprit hid the body parts near the ghost house to wait until Sora left the attraction. Yes?
Incoming.
Tell me, little man, where exactly is that place? Where on this glorious island can you hide 10 body pieces?
The underground passages.
If there was a pile of body parts near the ghost house, anyone would have noticed it. Hiding it inside a bag near the house would stand out. Curiosity would kill the cat for sure. Yet hiding them separately is also not an option. It would take a fair amount of time for the culprit to gather them all up, while still unnoticed by the others. Please. You're not seriously going to say that the culprit also managed this through luck as well, are you? If you are both deluded and moronic enough to think that they did, allow me to present my own evidence. Sora! She searched every nook and cranny near the ghost house. Right, Sora?
Oh, yeah. I searched not only the inside of the house, but also the outside as I was leaving the place. If there was a body hidden near the ghost house, I would have noticed it right away. Sorry, Shobai.
No, wait. I'm not done yet. It might have not been the ghost house.
Oh, whoa.
So, they hid it somewhere other than the ghost house? You'd like that, wouldn't you? Too bad we searched every other place as well. Sora, Iroha, and I searched basically everywhere in Department A. So there are no other options, Shobai. Time to go back to snoring and smoking. At least you can do that right.
Dude, do you even hear yourself sometimes? You just shot yourself in the foot. If you're saying that you, who I suspect is the culprit, searched Department A, I mean, do I really need to say more?
What do you mean?
I mean, she could have just bullshitted you all. All she needed to do was assign herself to where the body was kept, then lie about it being fine. Satisfied?
So, correct me if I'm wrong, Shobai, but you're saying that the body was hidden at the opposite end of the park from the ghost house?
Kanade's voice actress should be able to turn this in anywhere as an audition tape and get literally any part. Yeah.
Eh?
The place I investigated was that area. The storage area and beyond. I really hate to break it to you, little baby Shobai, but that's a little too far away from the ghost house, don't you think?
Need to remember, it's the warehouse dolls that they're using.
You fucking dirty little...
Wait, what's going on? Is there a problem with it being that far? One thing you guys have focused on is the idea of being inconspicuous and stealthy. So we can rule out the idea of the body being moved when everyone was running about in Department A, right? The culprit must have moved the body part sometime after Sora left the ghost house, which was at 1936. And according to the gate records, the culprit carried the body parts inside 6 minutes later at 1942. So...
I think I see the problem. If you hid the body parts too far away from the ghost house, you wouldn't be able to retrieve them within 6 minutes.
Sora even said that she looked around the outside of the ghost house. So if you want to be really specific, we have to take that extra minute or two into account as well. That means the culprit would only have about 4 to 5 minutes to move an entire assortment of body parts.
It's an actual battle of wits. No other trial is anything quite like it. I think that DRA1's 5th trial had a bit of this, cause like especially with how Yuki and Rei went back and forth for a while, especially after the rebuttal showdown.
If you want to move all 10 body pieces within that time limit, you would have hit it somewhere close to the ghost house. Get the picture?
Wait, didn't Shobai say that both Miss Big Sis and Little Sis were in cahoots? Maybe if they split the workload.
This again? You're as bad as Shinji. I've already said that accomplices don't matter here.
Oh, I agree. This definitely comes across more compelling because it really feels like you're having to choose which one to trust, and they're both like picking up immediately.
Alone or with company, you'd still be making 2 round trips.
Yeah, I agree, Raviner. It's the fact that the whole point of the mystery is that, well, it was a trap does make it less engaging to solve, and it's a necessary evil for the story being told, unfortunately.
It wouldn't even matter if the body parts were hidden in the nearest storage area. Making 2 round trips within 4 minutes is completely and utterly impossible. Unless you're some sort of superhuman that can teleport. This really is unfeasible.
Yeah. I think someone actually put down 1-5 as their favorite trial from DRA1. I can't remember who that was. It might have been Derpy Hero. Someone ranked all the DRA1 trials, and they put the 5th one as their favorite. Which I can understand on some level, because there are some pretty great moments in it.
Superhuman that can teleport? Mikado can teleport? Does that mean...
Oh, come now. Have we not already been over this? I am not permitted to use my magic in relation to murders. Please do not tell me you've forgotten this crucial fact, Miss Nijiue. I know using your brain is quite challenging, but try not to keep disappointing us.
Another impossible task. So many things in this trial don't make sense. What's going on here?
Shobai, is there another way?
Dear, oh dear. Your idiocy has left our class in quite the state, Miss Nijiue. You've left them with no choice but to ignore you because of your stupidity.
No, they love me! They're ignoring you because you're so annoying! And you smell.
Oh my god, both of you, please just be quiet!
Was Shobai's theory wrong? Kanade definitely has a point here. Moving a body in 4 minutes. Just how on earth did the culprit move the body? They sorta did, Carolyn. Carolyn.
It would be impossible to move the body that fast. And then I guess Shobai's theory was wrong.
Oh, the chimney.
Wait, that means the culprit moved the body without using the monorails. So they relied on luck and hoped not to get caught? Is that really what happened?
If we can't think of an alternative, then I guess that's the only solution.
One sec. The gate records were rigged, right? In that case, the culprit stayed inside the ghost house for 2 minutes between 1755 and 1757. So it's simple. They hide the body and cut the fuse during those 2 minutes.
It's certainly possible. Given the lack of lighting, Miss Sora may very well have missed the body. After all, there was no other possible time that the culprit could have caused the blackout in the ghost house.
Try to think about a contradiction in the ghost house's structure. This is a class trial. Not even the smallest of contradictions can be allowed to happen. I am surprised that, like, Trial 2 is so low on your ranking, Raviner, but I can sort of understand it. It is... The whole katakana puzzle is probably the, it is honestly crazy. But yeah, Trial 4, no surprises that it's at the top.
It's no use trying to think of... It would be impossible to move the body that fast. And then I guess...
Wait. So they relied on luck?
One sec. In that... So it's simple. They hide the body and cut the fuse during those 2 minutes.
It's certainly possible. Given the lack of lighting, Miss Sora may very well have missed the body. After all, there was no other possible time that the culprit could have caused the blackout in the ghost house.
It's no use trying to think of another way.
Oh, whoops. Didn't mean to shoot that.
It would be impossible to move the body that fast. And then I guess Shobai's theory was wrong.
Wait. So...
One sec. In that... So it's simple. They hide the
That doesn't sound right. I should concentrate and think.
Shoot! It's no use trying to...
So it's simple.
It's certainly possible. After all, there was no other possible time that the culprit could have caused the blackout in the ghost house.
Crap! It's no use It would be impossible to move the body that fast. It's no use trying to think of another way. It would be impossible to move the body. And then I guess...
Wait. So they...
We can't... One sec. In that... So it's simple. They hide the body and cut the fuse during those 2 minutes.
Shoot! It's no use trying to think of another way. It would be impossible to move the body that fast. And And then I guess
Damn it, I
Shobai's theory
need to
was
be able to
wrong.
check the truth bullets.
Wait, that means the culprit moved, so they relied.
One. In that. So.
It's certainly possible. After all, there was no other possible time that the culprit could have caused the blackout in the ghost house.
It's no use trying. It would be impossible to move the body that fast. And then I guess she'll.
Wait.
Guys, don't give me hints unless I ask for them. Okay?
Is that really?
We can't think of an alternative.
One sec. In that case, the culprit stayed inside the ghost house for. So it's simple. They hide the body and cut the fuse during those 2 minutes.
It's certainly possible. After all, there was no other possible time that the
Shoot! Crap!
It's no use trying to think of another way. And then-
In that.
It's no use trying to. It would be impossible to move the body that fast.
Crap!
It's no use trying to think of another way. It would.
Oh yeah, Noah was laughing. Noah and Kraz were laughing their asses off when Satsuki just confessed immediately.
Is that really?
We. One sec. In that case. So it's simple. They hide the body and cut the.
No, that's wrong!
That was a rough go.
I hate to shoot you down again, Nikkei, but I'm afraid that too would be impossible.
Impossible? I mean, I get that you'd be cutting it close, but if you really hurried, then.
Nope. Sora's right. 2 minutes is hardly enough time to hide 10 whole body pieces. But I'll play devil's advocate and say it might be possible. The bigger issue there is the ghost house fuse box. They opened it to cut the wires, remember? That means they had to visit the innermost part of the ghost house.
I was a fan of Ibuki way back in the day, so when Satsuki came along, that was just Ibuki again, but with actual plot relevance and the best send-off, that shattered me. Yeah, I don't know. Does Satsuki... Well, actually, no. I mean, Satsuki does have a relevance, but mainly in terms of Haru's storyline. Nikkei has been countered 4 times already.
The fuse box was just beside the entrance to the altar, and the altar is located at the heart of the ghost house. You'd waste your 2 minutes traveling back and forth, let alone consider hiding the body.
Maybe there was a secret passage that only the culprit knew of. They could have hidden the body there and gained access to the fuse box as well.
Shinji, you seem like a nice man, but please quit trying to help when you're clearly out of your league. There's no way that kind of passage would exist. And this brings me to my next point. If the culprit really did carry the body to the ghost house, the person who saw them should have noticed it. Okay, Iroha, you're up. Did my sister enter the ghost house holding something in her hands?
What are we talking about? I'm so confused!
Yeah, okay, yeah. No, yeah. I don't know why I forgot that. It's been a while.
Are you okay, Iroha?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't expect for everyone to start looking at me like that. It caught me a bit off guard.
I read the fox.
What are we talking about?
Iroha, it seems like you're not very fond of the fact that you have your head attached to your neck. Would it kill you to please pay attention? Or do I need to smack a bitch? You told us that you saw my sister entering the ghost house around 1755. True or false? Think.
Oh, right. Yeah. She was empty-handed. If she was holding a piece of the body, I would have noticed. But please don't hurt me.
See? So there's your definitive proof that the body wasn't transported directly to the ghost house. I cannot be the culprit. And as mentioned before, there are too many contradictions to suspect my sister as the culprit.
I have something I wish to inquire about, Miss Kanade. You successfully have shown us that you cannot be the culprit. I do not wish to contest that. But does that not mean that you yourself admit that your first theory was wrong? If it is not Miss Hibiki, as you first theorized, who do you think is the actual culprit?
That's, well...
Iroha's acting suspicious. Yeah, I did say if it's not one of the twins, it's probably Iroha.
Honestly, we need to think this through again. Look over the case once more. I was so focused on proving my innocence that I haven't had the time to think up another theory yet.
Shobai, how about you? This is the first time you've actually joined in during a class trial. Any more bright ideas?
Yeah, give me a minute. I need to think. Everyone shut up for a sec. I've missed something. Something big. Something staring me right in the face. But what?
Is this the end? No, it can't be, right? You two are just deep in thought. Come on, guys. I believe in you. Think harder. Think really hard. You can do it. All of our lives are in your hands. But no pressure.
I feel like Iroha sounds different too. Did she get a new voice actress?
While I really don't want to admit it, this case is honestly so complex that even I can't get a good grasp on it. Nothing's impossible, but...
Oh, no. We're doomed. I knew we needed Kokoro. She was the smartest one by far. If Kokoro was here, she would have solved the case immediately. But she's dead, and now we're all going to die.
I guess it's because of the different situation she's in. Yeah, that makes sense.
My life is flashing before my eyes.
Roha, for all that is good in this world, please just shut up!
We're all doing our best, but...
I'm tired. I want to go home. Mama! Papa!
I think my ears are beginning to bleed. Please, would someone clog her mouth or something?
We've made it through 2 class trials. Neither of them were easy, and we ran into a few hurdles along the way. But this was the first time that we'd all genuinely ran out of ideas. We all stood there, our faces full of either fear or confusion, or indigestion. Nobody said a word. The culprit of this case. Who is it? How did they kill Setsuka? Even Kanade, the smartest of us all by a country mile, has been left dumbfounded and perplexed. If she can't solve it, how can someone as ordinary as me, a girl with no brains or talent, stand any chance of helping solve this case?
Got it.
Kanade.
Alright, that took a bit longer than I would have liked, but we finally got there. Everyone, I figured out who the culprit is.
Really?
Oh, Kanade, I knew you'd be the one to save us. Never doubted you for a moment. Hooray!
Before that, though, I owe Shobai an apology. And a thank you. Without him, I would have mistakenly voted my sister as the culprit. A mistake I would have never forgiven myself for, nor would I have realized the gate records had been rigged, and that my sister was used.
So you admit to the fact that Hibiki is an accomplice?
Not at all. My sister wasn't an accomplice, she was just used as a pawn by the real culprit.
So, an accomplice.
And I hate the fact that I hadn't noticed that. But I'll spare you all the self-pity. This murder was carried out by a single person. A really meticulous one at that.
So who is it?
Before I say their name, let me recount the 3 key clues that led me to this conclusion. First, just as Shobai said, they are left-handed. Second, they lied and provided us with a false account in an attempt to use my sister as a scapegoat.
Is it Iroha?
And third, they made sure to have an alibi during the parade, so that they could freely move around the monorail. By process of elimination, that leaves only one person. I'm sure you've all realized who I'm talking about, right?
Left-handed, false account, has an alibi during the parade. The one who matches all of those descriptions is...
It can only be you.
The one who matches all those descriptions is you, Iroha Nijue.
3 cheers for Kanade. She saved us all. Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! Hip.
No! Huh. Well, that's a shame. I guess that's gonna be where we leave off for tonight. But yeah, unfortunately, I did say that's where the, I did say I was going to, do the intermission. I was going to cut this off at the intermission, and so that's what I'm gonna do. But I do have I will talk, I am fine with talking for a while. So what do you think of the trial so far? I'm loving it. I'm loving this a lot. And it's definitely got a... It's definitely... I feel like it's got a real shot at challenging another's one's 4th case for best case. Alright, Red the Fox. Basically, we've determined a number of things. Basically, Kanade was leading discussion a lot early, and leaving it... It is who you thinking of for sure, but again, rather than about this elsewhere, like the Discord server. Okay. So, right. Basically, right now, we are trying to figure out... Kanade and Shobai have been going back and forth for a while, coming up with various points explaining parts of the crime, with Kanade being the main suspect from Shobai's point of view. And meanwhile... Kanade is basically trying to prove her innocence, but eventually, she came up with a description of the person, of who the culprit would have to be. Someone who has an alibi during the parade, is left-handed, and... what was the second thing? Left-handed, gave an incorrect account, and was there during the second... and had an alibi during the parade. In other words, Iroha. What are your thoughts of the trials so far, 1 and 2? They're both pretty good. I'm honestly not sure which one I'd say was better. 2, I think, was... 2 definitely had, like, more interesting ideas, but it had little bits like the dying message that... Really, it was just mainly the dying message with the icicles that made me kind of have to mark it down a little. It just felt a little, obtuse on that front, like, to the point that, it definitely felt like that moment was more to build up Kanade's, like, competence than to really advance the mystery. Like, I don't think it's a riddle that anyone could realistically solve. It is a unique idea, don't get me wrong, and I'm glad that, you know, that Lineage decided to try that out. But I do think that the case did end up suffering a little bit because of the need for the weird icicle puzzle. Then couldn't it only be Iroha? Not necessarily, because Kanade is also left-handed, she also has an alibi during the parade, and technically speaking, you could consider some of her arguments so far as a false account. A22 is a good example of an obvious killer done well. Yeah. as of now, who are your favorite and least favorite characters in this game? I feel like I answer this every stream, but it is probably still... I don't really... I mean, to be honest, Kanade and Shobai are still very much on the climb, but in terms of just pure vibes, probably still Setsuka as my favorite, and Yuri's probably going to remain my least favorite for the rest of the game unless something goes horribly, horribly wrong. And I don't even dislike Yuri. But wasn't she watching the parade with the others? Well, that's the point. The fact that one of Kanade's criteria is that the killer had to have an alibi during the parade, and Iroha has one because she received a message from Setsuka, or whoever had Setsuka's handbook at the time, to wait for her by the mirror house. And meanwhile, Kanade was watching the parade, but ultimately, that doesn't really... Kanade having an alibi during the parade really doesn't mean much when it's been determined that the time of death was sometime in the morning at the pool, which is hours before the parade. And I think she also showed up right at... Like, Sora showed up to the parade a little bit late, and then Kanade, if I remember correctly, showed up right after she did. I still remember when I first played this game, they originally had Iroha as my favorite, then Trial 2 happened and Kanade took off like a rocket on crack. No, yeah, she's definitely entertaining. Like, I suppose in terms of entertainment value, Kanade is possibly my favorite. Either her or Shobai. Or Mikado, honestly. It really depends on what you look for. Like, vibes-wise, though, Setsuka still wins, in my opinion. And there's still... And I mean, that's kind of the point, that there's so many great characters that are just really enjoyable all in their own ways. I even said before that Haruhiko and Ayame were kind of... Ayame, I think, was my favorite during the early going of DRA 1, and then that switched to Haruhiko, and then after finishing the game and rewatching it on like, when I was playing it with Noah, my opinion is now most likely my favorite character would be, depending on the day, either Teruya, Rei, or Tsurugi. Although I'd say Haruhiko is at least a top 5 contender for me. It's honestly hard to say because, like, there are times, because, like, there are definitely plot important characters that don't always have the same appeal, or don't really have, whether it's because they don't have enough screen time or enough screen time of them, whether it's having enough screen time in general or having enough screen time where they're just being people and it's not plot devices. Yamato in particular suffers from this problem. But as I also say, there are no bad characters here. Definitely. I will say, though, Iroha was... I mean, don't get me wrong, Iroha is interesting in some ways, but I feel like her presence is often understated, and because of that, if I had to make a ranking right now, I would probably end up ranking Iroha fairly low overall. The more I see the people's opinion, the more I realize that I'm disliking Chapter 2 and Ayame as a minority thing. Yeah, I mean, I can understand why... Chapter 2 isn't perfect, it definitely is a little bit chaotic in places, and the katakana puzzle is probably the most obtuse one in DRA 1. And I can also understand the arguments that Ayame isn't much of a character in her own right, except for moving things forward a bit, and that may be because of the fact that she wasn't originally slated to be the killer that chapter. I think her swapping places with Kanata was the only time that the death order changed for DRA 1. Tsurugi and Nikke are my favorites in each game. I know people dog on Yuri sometimes, but he gets the ball rolling and manages to feel like a complete character even when being the Chapter 1 victim. Yeah, absolutely. Like, I'm not sure if I fully agree with the idea of Well, no, it makes sense, because the idea of characters and their quality being judged by how well they fulfill their roles in the story and do so satisfyingly, I think has some logic to it. The problem does come down to execution. Yuri, I think, absolutely makes for... I do think Yuri does what he's meant to do. He isn't like overly creepy. I don't think he's overly creepy. He's certainly not as outwardly problematic in the same way that Teru Teru is. Like, I think that if things really came down to the wire, I don't think if things really came down to the wire, I would definitely trust Yuri more than I would Teru Teru to not go there, if you catch my drift. I can understand being made uncomfortable by him. Actually, that I don't even know why it's not even a competition, because, like, the most Yuri does is just be a romantic, whereas Teru Teru is already basically committing acts of sexual assault as literally his first action on screen. I don't think Yuri is a perv per se. He's just a little odd. Honestly, yeah, he doesn't really, and honestly, like, I think if Yuri, like, walked in on Teru Teru during his first scene with Sonya, he'd immediately just jump on him and start beating the crap out of him. Teru Teru, at least you can ignore his existence. Yuri making it known makes it harder to stomach for me. You still have to deal with both of them. You still have to actually deal with them. Like, it's not something that you can necessarily... you can technically ignore it with Yuri. You can sort of do that with any character. Also, the fact Yuri also acts like Nagito helps. Yeah, that too. And it also kind of makes you wonder, like, with such a reveal, how long is he going to, could he actually end up living longer? Because, Nagito basically makes a similar claim quite early on. But, he lasts a while. And for the record, in his FTEs, Yuri makes it clear he wouldn't cross the boundaries Teru Teru does. That's good. Yeah, I don't think he'd cross that boundary. And also, like, even in the DRA1 universe... even in the DRA universe, if we're strictly talking about Danganronpa and others' characters, I do know of at least one character who's worse on that front I do know of at least one character who's... Well, actually, no, I know of two characters who are worse on that front. And they both die very early on in DRA1. You can probably guess who they are. Yuri's just loud with how he acts, hard to explain, but, like, both are bad for me, but I dislike Yuri a little bit more. Sure. But, yeah, like, there's obviously Mitsuhiro, of course, who tries to force himself onto Akane, and also Kizuna, who basically tries to do the same thing to Yuki. Albeit that's in her free time events. The way I see it, Tenko from V3 is a closer comparison for Yuri. Yeah, I agree. Because he does, like, talk a lot about he does talk a lot about his disdain for men, but also doesn't really, like, he isn't so disgusted with them that he won't, like, be around them that he'll, like, try to avoid, them if he... Mitch is a meme in the Discord server. Which Discord server are you talking about? I know that, like... Also, I forget why... Oh, Mitch XWD. Oh, God. I don't know... Sorry, I'm gonna come off as a stick in the mud. I don't know why that's a joke. And I personally don't find it very funny. What makes Mitch's cases especially bad is that the game doesn't really treat it as seriously as it should. Like, it's weird how Akane defends him post-trial as if that never happened. That's why I consider him the only sort of bad character. I don't remember that. I'd have to check that again, but yeah, if that's the case, that's not good. Oh, Zeffy's Corner? Oh, I think I'm in there. But yeah, Mitsuhiro is definitely the worst character in DRA1, if you're asking me, even without the whole Akane thing. Like, even if you take out the sexual assault thing, he just isn't very interesting. Like, he has his, you know, I think he works fine as the ideal killer to, get the ball rolling on DRA1's story, particularly for the story it's trying to tell, but his free time events don't really get... You don't really get the same depth to him as you do to someone like, say, Leon, you know? And yeah, Kizuna's whole thing, I think, is... It's definitely bad that she does it, but I also feel like... It's in this weird middle ground where I don't think it's necessarily glossed over. Like, Yuki definitely objects to it vehemently, but it's also not really... Because it's a free time event, they can't really acknowledge... Like, no other characters can actually acknowledge that what Kizuna was doing was a little fucked up, you know? Not gonna lie, I also feel like the Mitch jokes get old sometimes, at least it feels like. They get forced a bit too much, but I also play into my faves memes all the time, so I can't really complain. To be honest, the overexposure... To be honest, I think it's just kind of a case of hype/overexposure is just the bane of everything. Like, I'd probably be annoyed by this even with, I'd probably be annoyed by this even... I'd probably find it, like, semi-irritating, even if it was for someone like Haruhiko. I mean, I don't even like the... I don't even find the Kinjo Cult memes that funny. It's really odd how Kizuna's free time events make her so much better and also so much worse. Yeah, I think that actually... Yeah, that's probably the best way of describing it. I also don't think she even mentions, like, her mother in those, which is weird. Chapter 6 honestly made her even worse for me. Who, Kizuna? How? Probably because she was, like, being a gold digger on Mitch. If anything, I think that actually... I mean, at the very least, that kind of shows that, I mean, much like Mitsuhiro, you know, she's not going to iron out all of her flaws overnight. But to be honest, if you're asking me, I think that Kizuna and Mitsuhiro, and I will continue to call him Mitsuhiro, regardless of what you say, I think that they're honestly perfect for each other. They're both terrible. At least Mitch had something in Chapter 6. Yeah? I guess that's part of the point. Kizuna was trying towards the end, but I think she has... it's clear that Kizuna has more hurdle. It's clear that if nothing bad happened... It's clear that if DRA1 never happened, Kizuna has far more hurdles in life to overcome than Mitsuhiro does. That's my way of explaining it. And speaking of, that's... reminds me of one of many ideas for videos that I really need to get back to. You guys have no idea, like, I know I mentioned in my update video that I'm planning on making videos on Attorney of the Arcane relatively soon. I say relatively as if it hasn't been like 2 months or something since I made that video. But, Kizuna was just desperate to get out. I don't think she cared about anyone else there. Oh yeah. I mean, chances... Yeah, I'm not trying to defend her mind. I'm just trying to sort of explain, like... I'm just trying to, like, have a discussion. Okay, so... I left a note for myself about what I needed to do for the second half of the trial. So, I need to remove Meditation, Sharpshooter, and... I'll be surprised if there's another one. I'll be surprised if there's another bullet time battle. So I'll remove Jam Session. And then put Croquillon, since from the sound of it, it basically solves the closing argument. And yeah, we'll leave it like that. Yes, Tyrion Cuthbert, Attorney of the Arcane. That's my planned next series of videos. I am sorry for those of you who want to see more like edited videos for me that I haven't really gotten cracking on that. I promise I'll get back to work on that soon. I don't know how long the next video will actually take to make, but I haven't forgotten about it. But on top of the Attorney of the Arcane stuff, there's a number of other videos I want to make, and not all of, and a few of them aren't related to any Fangans or Attorney of the Arcane. Some of them, in fact, one of them isn't related to mystery visual novels at all. What are your thoughts about Weeby News saying that Kinji is a certified Yasifier? Cringe. I haven't, Diamond Boomerang, that's my answer to that. I haven't watched her streams at all, but I'm just gonna say cringe, okay? Sorry. But yeah, part of the reason these streams exist is to sort of tide you guys all over while I try to figure out editing videos on a new device, possibly with a new software, because Clipchamp is kind of crap, and I feel like while I don't regret using DaVinci Resolve, I probably need to I might be due for a new editing software soon, just because that one was a little weird to get exporting properly. But yeah, Attorney of the Arcane I'm going to review all the cases in Attorney of the Arcane, and speaking of Attorney of the Arcane, that content update is going to be... there's a content update for it that should be coming out this January. I don't know if I don't think I'll be covering that on stream. It really depends on how I'm feeling. Or if I can find footage of it. But yeah, I'll have to keep a lookout for that. Especially because apparently all the cases are getting some new scenes added to them that shouldn't affect the plot too much, but still, yeah. And Case 3 will be getting a full rewrite. When is the next stream? Raviner, next stream will be Tuesday. I stream on Tuesdays and Fridays. And that'll, at same time, same days, Tuesday, Friday, 7 CST for the foreseeable future. There is the possibility of me adding a third stream on top of that, but if I do add a third stream, it would most likely be a variety stream where I play something that isn't SDRA 2, or possibly even a mystery visual novel. I like all cases in Attorney of the Arcane. How about you? I like all the cases too, Daisakuma. Case 3 is definitely the weakest one, just in terms of, like, mystery solving factor, but I love the world building in it. Like, it's where I think the world building goes from pretty solid to really fun. And I've really gained and I feel like in the same way that I gained an appreciation for DRA1 while going through the game again, while taking notes for it, and also replaying the game with Noah. By the way, if you guys want to hear me, like, discussing more of this stuff, to Just Noah, if you guys want to hear me talking about DRA1 a ton and just raving about it, watch Just Noah Here's playthrough. We're joined by Crazaloo and Net Neutrality, if you know who those are. And we have a fun time with it. Insane how Cursed 3 is in murder mystery games. Yeah, yeah. I will say though, there is one game in recent memory that I went through that not only avoided third case syndrome, but actually ended up having its third case be one of the best cases it had on offer. Which, and believe it or not, the game I'm thinking of is not the game you might have thought of first. You're technically not wrong in the game you're thinking of, at least the one I think you're thinking of, but the one I'm thinking of is not the same. But the game that I assume you're thinking of and the game that I'm thinking of are not the same. Case 4 was my favorite in Attorney of the Arcane. Yeah, me too. Noah actually likes Case 5 more. I think Case 5 is probably going to be the most interesting one to go back to, because I was kind of getting swamped up in all the plot reveals. But, I was kind of getting swamped in all the plot reveals at the time, but... yeah, But yeah, Case 5 is actually, I think, is a lot better than I gave it credit for. Well, this game is that case, so now it's 2 games for you. I'm talking about the game I'm talking about that has a really good third case to the point that it's one of the best it has, is from a game that came out fairly recently. And to be honest, to be honest with how often I talk about, with the people I talk about and the things I do with them, you can, assuming, depending on who you are and who you follow, you can probably figure it out. Said game will most likely get videos in the future. The issue is that Case 3 and Ace Attorney feels like the filler case. Yeah, that is one issue. Though I also think that the filler by itself isn't bad, and, like, I do think that Kempdog in his countdown made a good point that Turnabout Samurai did actually do something fairly good in that it set the standard for what character writing in Ace Attorney should be. And, yeah. The Case 3 curse only began to crack after Case 3 and Miles' Investigations 2. Yeah, I think so. I guess I think Case 3 syndrome, Third Case syndrome kind of started more so in Justice for All, to be honest. And even the worst offenders of Third Case syndrome, like Turnabout Big Top and Serenade, still have their redeeming qualities. I will say Danganronpa is probably less defensible in terms of the Case 3 curse, just because, well, the quality of those cases is definitely worse, I'd say. Because at least the Ace Attorney series gets all the facts straight. Oh yeah, Turnabout Sisters is much worse than Samurai. Samurai ain't even a bad case. I'd say that, like, as far as Ace Attorney goes, it's about average. And average is good in the Ace Attorney series. Funny though, even Danganronpa didn't start Third Case syndrome in the first game. Yeah, not necessarily. I can see why I think people would still probably put the Third Case... A good chunk of people, I'm sure, put the Third Case fairly low. Yeah. We really talked a lot on this stream, didn't we? But yeah, this one is definitely looking to be really something special so far. Because honestly, like, even though the trial did end on the accusation of Iroha, I still feel like I haven't fully shaken Kanade off. Like, I still think it is very much between her... It's still very much between Kanade and Iroha. My main thing with 1-3 is I feel like they made the liar and manipulator bad at lying and manipulation. Yeah, part of the... I think it's half the point that Celeste isn't all that she's cracked up to be. Because, well, you know, she's the ultimate gambler, and ultimately a lot of her plan does come down to luck. She does manage to manipulate Hifumi, but I do think that the sort of chaotic mess she comes up with does at least make things slightly harder than usual to solve. But yeah, I can understand why it's a facade that she puts up. That's the point. I don't think Celeste is necessarily disappointing. Like, you kind of, because part of the point is really, especially towards the end of the trial, you kind of see that the wall she puts up, this whole facade she puts on is crumbling down, and even though she's trying her best to keep it up, there's only so much she can do, and you can tell she's clearly shaken inside. Yeah, and again, like, I mean, as I say in the DRA1 video, like, just because something is meant to be subpar or bad or whatever on purpose doesn't automatically justify it being that way. And, you know, Celeste is one of the times where I can at least mostly excuse it because, granted, Celeste is ultimately not the most important character, so that's probably why I have an easier time excusing it. Whereas you get to the more plot-important characters, and that has a harder time going down as easily, you know? I already checked the skills. But yeah, I don't think I have much else to say right now. Next stream will be Tuesday as usual. unless something comes up, in which case you'll be informed. I don't really know what else to say at this point. But yeah, thank you all for showing up. I'm glad that I'm glad that some of y'all are finding my commentary interesting enough to show up for repeat appearances. TRA 1, A3, and 1-3 feel really similar in my thoughts on them. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Next time, thankfully, next time we finally get to exact our vengeance, or at least I do. Good night, everybody, and Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.